नाभिरच्छिद्रगुं शरणगुं सजोषादुराधर्षं गृणते शर्मजगुं सत् एव स्वेन भागथे देनोपधावति स एवैनं वरुणपाशान्मुञ्चति कृष्ण एकशितिपाद्भवति वारुणो ह्येष देवतया समृद्ध्यै सुवर्धानुरासुरः सूर्यं तमसा विद्यत्तस्मै देवाः प्रायश्चित्तिमैच्छन्दस्य यत्प्रथमम् तमोपाघ्नन् सा कृष्णाविरभवद्यद्वितीयगुं सा फल्गुनी यत्तृतीयगुं सा बलक्षी यदध्यस्थादपाग्रन्तन् सा विर्वशा ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्म हविर्ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यं ब्रह्मकर्म समाधिना अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रितः प्राणापानौ तथा व्यानं पचाम्यन्नं चतुर्विधम् कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः तच्छंयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः भञ्जिगातु भेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शं चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ
beautiful now.
गोपीजनवल्लभाय धीमहि तन्नः कृष्णः प्रचोदयात् भूर्भुवस्सुवरो अस्मिन् चित्रसमूहे रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा समेतं श्रीकृष्णं ध्यायामि श्रीकृष्णमावाहयामि श्रीकृष्णपरब्रह्मणे नमो नमः आसनार्थं पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि ये ते गन्धपुष्पधूपदीपैः सकलाराधनैः स्वर्चितम् ॐ कृष्णाय नमः ॐ वासुदेवाय नमः ॐ कमलनाथाय नमः ॐ वसुदेवात्मजाय नमः ॐ पुण्याय नमः ॐ लीलामानुषविग्रहाय नमः ॐ श्रीवत्सकौस्तुभधराय नमः ॐ यशोदावत्सलाय नमः ॐ हरये नमः ॐ वृन्दावनान्तसञ्चारिणे नमः ॐ तुलसीदामभूषणाय नमः ॐ स्यमन्तकर्मणे हर्त्रे नमः ॐ नरनारायणात्मकाय नमः ॐ कुब्जाकृष्णाम्बरधराय नमः ॐ शकटासुरभञ्जनाय नमः ॐ विश्वरूपप्रदर्शकाय नमः ॐ सत्यवाचे नमः ॐ सत्यसङ्कल्पाय नमः ॐ जिष्णवे नमः ॐ पूर्वजाय नमो नमः रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा समेत श्रीकृष्णस्वामिने नमो नमः गोपालकृष्णस्वामिने नमो नमः नानाविधपरिमलपत्रपुष्पार्चनानि समर्पयामि धूपदीपार्थे पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुवः अमृते अमृतेश्वरामृतवर्षण अमृतं श्रावय श्रावय स्वाहा रुक्मिणी सत्यभामा समेत श्रीकृष्णस्वामिने नमो नमः बालकृष्णस्वामिने नमो नमः विशेष कदलीफलानि अमृतं निवेदयामि कर्पूरताम्बूलार्थं पुष्पाणि समर्पयामि समस्तोपचारान् समर्पयामि ॐ नीराञ्जनं करिष्ये श्री शिवा विष्णु आलये करिष्यमान श्री कृष्ण महोत्सव कर्मणि निर्विघ्नेन परिसमाप्त्यर्थे दिव्यमंगल आनंद नीरांजनं संदर्शयामि आचमनीयं समर्पयामि दिव्यरक्षां धारयामि नमस्करोमि जय बोलो श्री कृष्ण भगवान की जय बोलो रुक्मिणी मैया की जय बोलो राधे मैया की जय योपां पुष्पं वेद पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति चन्द्रमा वा अपां पुष्पं पुष्पवान् प्रजावान् पशुमान् भवति एवं वेद योपामायतनं वेद आयतनवान् भवति श्रीसत्यभामासमेत श्रीकृष्णस्वामिने नमो नमः दिव्यमङ्गल वेदोक्तमन्त्रपुष्पाञ्जलिं समर्पयामि सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते
Good morning, everybody. We are pleased to welcome you to the Vidwat Goshti for the Sri Krishna Anugraha Mahotsavam. We have a distinguished area speakers. We'll introduce all of them one by one. So this Vidwat Goshti was suggested by Swamiji. Sri Subhanindratirtha Swamiji said, we are doing the Krishna Anugraha Mahotsavam. We have to have a Vidwat Goshti associated with the Mahotsavam. So based on his guidance, we are doing this Vidwat Goshti. So this focused on the Krishna's message in Gita and Upanishads, and especially what is relevant to the current day. That is the focus of today's sessions. So before we start the session, Swamiji has also given some Anugraha mantras for the Mahotsavam. We will chant the mantras and we'll do a short meditation, and then we'll go into these talks. Audience, yeah, for the when we're chanting, it will be good if you can remove the shoes. So the first mantra given by Swamiji, I will chant it, you can repeat it. Shri Krishna Krishna Yadunandana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Yadunandana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Muralidhara Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Muralidhara Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Phanimardana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Phanimardana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Sharanam Bhava Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Sharanam Bhava Krishna Krishna.
One more time. Shri Krishna Krishna Yadunandana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Yadunandana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Muralidhara Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Muralidhara Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Phanimardana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Phanimardana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Sharanam Bhava Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Sharanam Bhava Krishna Krishna.
One more time. Shri Krishna Krishna Yadunandana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Yadunandana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Muralidhara Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Muralidhara Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Phanimardana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Phanimardana Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Sharanam Bhava Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Krishna Sharanam Bhava Krishna Krishna.
So let's meditate on this for 1 minute in silence, meaning of the shloka. I will go to the second mantra. Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Hare Paramatmane.
Hare Paramatmane.
Pranata Kleshanashaya.
Pranata Kleshanashaya.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Hare Paramatmane.
Hare Paramatmane.
Pranata Kleshanashaya.
Pranata Kleshanashaya.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya.
Hare Paramatmane.
Hare Paramatmane.
Pranata Kleshanashaya.
Pranata Kleshanashaya.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
We will meditate also on this meaning of the shloka for a minute. Is given the last sloka of Bhagavad Gita also. Yatra Yogeshkara Krishno.
Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi.
Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi.
Dhruvanitir Matirmama.
Bhavanitir Matirmama.
Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna.
Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi.
Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi.
Dhruvanitir Matirmama.
Dhruvanitir Matirmama.
Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna.
Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha.
Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi.
Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi.
Dhruvanitir Matirmama.
Dhruvanitir Matirmama.
Also meditate on this for a short while. Thank you. So now we'll able to begin the program. As I said, we have with us very distinguished panel of guests, Jayakrishna Nelamangala, Dr. Purna Prasad, Vidwat ji and Dr. Kalika ji. So we'll have detailed introduction to them as we go along the program. Now I request Tenapan ji to welcome all of you, the guests, on behalf of the Sri Shiva Vishnu Temple.
Thank you, Vasuji. My name is Tenapan Nayappan. I am blessed to serve as the chairperson of Sri Shiva Vishnu Temple, and on behalf of the temple management and the devotees and priests, we welcome you all for this eminent gathering. Since we are already running late, I'll keep my welcome address very short. I'm also looking forward to hearing from all the eminent speakers and participating in the discussions. Welcome all of you, and we are doing this as part of the Sri Krishna Anugraha Mahotsavam. The actual Mahotsavam is from July 15th through 19th. We request all of you to come and participate in the 5-day festivities that start this Wednesday as well. Thank you very much. Welcome once again.
Thanks, Tenapanji. Since we are having speakers from lineages of great saints from Puja Swamiji, Dayananda Saraswati, and other scholars, we request all the audience to stand up and pray our namaskara to the Guru Parampara with folded hands, because they represent the Guru Parampara. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Hari Om.
Thank you. So we'll start with Dr. Purna Prasad. He is a multi-talented personality, so he is comes from the Prabhat Kalavidar family in Karnataka, well known for the arts. So he has acted in the role of Madhvacharya, film Madhvacharya by G. Iyer, and also in the technology professional. So he is a pioneer in the healthcare industry and a torchbearer for the rich artistic legacy started from his grandfather, a renowned scholar, Gopinath Dasaru. He was a Harikatha expert and well known in the arts in Karnataka. Dr. Prasad co-founded Pampa USA, keeping the vibrant flame of the performing arts institution across the continents. As a former CTO of the Norwell Health, largest healthcare system in New York, and before that, the director of clinical technology in the biomedical engineering, started the Stanford University Medical Center. Dr. Prasad led the development of groundbreaking healthcare strategies. Now he's ventured into the future and his own company developing the next generation of healthcare robots and drones. So he's well versed in the latest technologies also. So we're very pleased to welcome him. He is also a disciple of Banajay Govindacharya. He studied under him a great deal, so he is also well qualified in the Madhva Vedanta. So we're very pleased to have him, and let's give him a warm welcome. Dr. Prasad will be presenting his talk on Krishna's Playbook for Life, Science of Bhagavad Gita and Everyday Living. Welcome.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Jayati Parashara Sunuhu Satyavati Hridaya Nandano Vyasaha. Yasya Asya Kamalagalitam Vangmayam Amrutam Jagat Pibati. Bhujaga Bhogava Mudyamya Hridyam Nijabhujam Dakshinam Lakshanadyam. Lalita Mudrikta Vignana Mudram Bhaja Bhaja Anantamitya Alapantam. Pranatavan Praninam Pranabhutam Pranatibhit Prinaye Purna Bhutam. Bhavadavoshnena tatapyamanan bhuviparam natham aprekshamanan bhuvanamanyena chanena doshna bhavatu birma iti nassantvayantam pranatavan praninam pranabhutam pranatibhi prinaye purnabhutam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Offering my deepest respects to my renowned Guru and my Adhyatmic father, Vidya Vachaspati, Dr. Bananje Govindacharyaru. It's a pleasure to sit with you and discuss the playbook that was given to us 5,000 years ago, to which majority of us have become the Dhritarashtras. We need to resolve this blindness inside and out. And for that, we need the grace of Krishna. Krishna's blessing is such an infinite concept because not only he wrote or composed this playbook in probably the worst possible scenario, which is a battlefield, where killing is the instinct, is the aim. And then as Bhagavan Vedavyasa explained it in that magical 18 chapters, that number itself is magical. This playbook is unlike any playbook ever seen either by the NFL or the NHL. In this playbook, Krishna not only is the promoter, but also is an actor. He is both the performer and the director, and is also the visualizer because he is seeing this entire unravel itself through us. Kurukshetra is a very interesting and extremely scientific scenario that Krishna picks up. Killing field, eliminating almost 1/10 of the world population, starts with the word Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre. So, usual question is, Krishna or Sanjaya or Bhagavan Vedavyasa, are you out of your mind? Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre? Well, when we actually get enlightened by the three acharyas and their commentaries, you start seeing what the reality is. The Dharmakshetra is not just in Kurukshetra near New Delhi, it is right here in every one of you. You have the 5 Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, the Pancha Pandavas, and of course there are the 100 Kauravas, endowed with weapons of Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsana. And who is in the center? Adyatishta, Hridayak Nivasi. Krishna is right at the center, holding the reins. Wow. Right from the beginning, this playbook unravels not only in front of us, but inside us. Until the acharyas completely opened the book on it, we could never see that. So let's see how we can apply this to our daily living. I said it's the playbook, and the next question is, how do we apply it? So let's start from the time we wake up. The very fact that we wake up itself is a blessing. Some people don't wake up. Many of us wake up. That entire act of awakening itself is the first blessing of Krishna. To tread through the previous wakefulness, the previous night, into the dream state and on to the deep sleep state, then back to the awakening state. The state of awakening, the state of dreaming, the state of sleep, back to the awakened state, the Akara Vacha Bhagavan. Krishna appears as the Akara Vacha Bhagavan. Now, do we feel it? Yes, we do feel it. What's the problem? We are not aware of it. That's the problem. The awareness is the problem. So as soon as you awake, one should realize that here is Krishna waking you up. Is that a person? No. What is that? The first basic step the great Rishi says is, I don't know. No bhayati prajna. I don't know who he is. I don't know who she is, and I don't know what it is. But you do wake up. In order to awaken us, he brings in Arjuna. Arjuna is Indra Sambhuta. He is the embodiment of all our Indriyas. And what do we do first? I woke up. Purna Prasad woke up, so Purna Prasad is great. We follow Arjuna. Senayor Bayor Madhye Ratam Stapaya Mechuta. The most dangerous word. It is not our chariot, Krishna. It is not your chariot. It is my chariot. Go install this in front of those warmongers. Wow. See, we get up in the morning, we think we are the greatest thing since the slice of bread. And I want to do everything. I want to make sure that everybody is taken care of. I want to make sure that I am identified, recognized, and gifted with everything that I deserve, that I basically claim that I deserve. I'm going to say, I need this. So Krishna says, okay, our man needs a little bit of help. And what does he do? Goes and installs the chariot right in front of probably the most potent force that is going to do the rest of the work very easily. Right in front of Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, his own grandfather. So we basically say, I can solve all the problems, go. And then we are faced with the first problem. You know, you cannot solve it. Immediately, what Arjuna did? Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna, Nacharajyam Sukhanija, Kimno Rajyena Govinda. Oh no, Krishna, oh my God, who are these people? My grandfather, my revered guru, my cousins, my sons, Shwashuraha, Shalaha. No. It doesn't matter. They can kill me if they want. I am not going to wage this war. So, I don't want to do it. This I that starts right from the time we are woken up, that itself is the cuspal point that one needs to say. That's the reason they teach us, right? Samudra Vasane Devi, Parvatasthana Mandale, Vishnu Patnim Prasanna, Kshamaswami. I'm going to put my foot, Padasparshan Kshamaswami. Because everything is rented here. Purna Prasad's body is rented. Every system is rented. The sight, the sound, the touch, the breathing, everything is rented. My mortgage is in full force. I might have paid off my house. Doesn't matter. This mortgage can never be paid off. Krishna wants us to remember that. And what does he expect? Gratefulness. Be grateful. Gratitude. Arjuna, who was just 6 months younger to Krishna, so close to him, completely had this screen of ignorance on his face as we basically get. So let's now, I'm going to take you in 2 tracks for about 10-15 minutes and then complete my presentation. So we get up and then we brush our teeth, hopefully. usual, it's mechanical. This teeth which helps us articulate everything, chew everything, and swallow everything, make it ready for digestion, was not given birth to by us. Ayam Vaishwanaro Bhuta Pranina Dehamashitaha. Everything, the growth of the teeth, the action of the jaw muscles, the sensory nervous system that perceives the cutting of the food, the swallow reflex, and the digestion, which is an offering to the Vaishwanara Agni inside. Krishna sits there and does the entire thing. Can we be a little grateful? Say, Krishna, Tava Pajacharanam Sarvam Samarpayami, and start brushing the teeth. Washing this face, which actually has the Mukha Prana in it, the entire thing. We see through our eyes because He is there seeing through our eyes. He put an object in front of the eyes, perceived it, and then we gained the perception. We are just but an instrument. Another point where we could be grateful, where Bhagavad Gita becomes the playbook. After that, we take a bath. The water itself, Apaha, is one of the greatest blessings of Bhagavan. Every droplet of water is Ganga. It falls on us because it is the Abhisheka of Krishna inside. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha, who has millions and millions of faces, not just FACES for the engineers, it is PHASCS. Okay? We said all our grateful prayer is gratefulness. Yajadeva Puja, it's a yagna. And then starts the real fun. Arjuna sees, he says, Nakangshe Vijayam Krishna, and doesn't want to recognize anything. Just I'll paint a brief picture. Here is the enabler of everything right in front of him, holding the reins, just like he holds the reins in our heart. Above is the very embodiment of Prana Shakti, Hanuman sitting. Our man has forgotten everything just like us. At this point, I want to bring one thing to your attention. Please realize that now, 9:56 a.m., Bhagavan Krishna is sitting inside every one of you and hearing and enabling the entire auditory cortex, otherwise you won't hear anything. He is inside me speaking, I am just moving my lips. If we think that you are hearing and I am speaking, that is the first step of total ignorance. I cannot create a single syllable of vibration without the entire Omkara, Akara, Ukaram, Makara, Nada, Bindu, Kala, Shanta, starting right from here, a thought converted into a sound vibration, into a Vaikari, into a modulation, into an articulation that you can perceive and understand. Arjuna forgot. So do we Arjunas. Then we sit in our car to go to work. Because this is a playbook, I said. You know, the center forward, the goalie, everybody should know what they should pay. We just sit in our car, start the car, or put a switch on for the electric cars and just go forward. Well, Krishna says, no. Until I enable the entire process of Agni, nothing happens. Aga, everything is static. The car is static. The Niyati Shakti that I come as myself, the spark plug creates the fire. The fire touches the Varuna, which is your fuel. Then there is the Shakti, Prana Shakti, you go forward. Nothing is in your hands. It is not your car. It is not you driving. You have been driven. You are but a Uber passenger all your life. He is the Uber driver. That's why Krishna clarifies it as he wakes up. Now, as we are going, our expectation is, I want to go to work, everything should be perfect. I want my boss to be saying, you are the greatest thing since the slice of bread. I want to be given the best possible package, both financial and otherwise. I just have to be celebrated because I am the greatest thing. No, you basically are walking into a war field. The day you dropped from your mother's womb, the war started. That is the reason he wakes him up, probably with the most powerful thunderbolt. The entire first chapter, Krishna is silent. Arjuna is trying his best to convince Krishna that no, this war should not be fought. Krishna's first statement, Hatho va prapsasi swargam, jitva va bhokshase mahim, tasma ruddhishta kaunteya, yuddhaya krita nischayaha. You are in the battle. You fight. If you die, you go to the heaven. If you are alive, you enjoy the spoils. That is the way world works. Hence, the battle is on, the war is declared. But don't be depressed, it's not so bad. We have been in it throughout our life. We battle for every breath. The reason we don't feel it is Bhagavan, the Pranadeva is sitting there and meditating and doing the tapas on our behalf. Ham sasoham, to Bhagavan Krishna. We go to work. What do we face? Some good, some bad, some success, some failure. How do we deal with it? Here is your playbook. Sukha dukkhe same krutva. Lava labho, jaya jaya. Yes, you are going to win some, you are going to lose some. But through this wins and losses, happiness and sadness, you evolve. Why? There are only two things. You need to know who you are. Through that eye of realization, you will realize who I am. So, who am I? Beautiful answer by Krishna. Pitahamasya jagatu, mata data pitamaha, vedyam pavitram omkara, ruksamayitidevacha. I am everything. Second law, third law of thermodynamics, sigma E is equal to 0. What has to happen has been completely scripted. He is the omnipotent, strong, omniscient, present everywhere, and he is the omni of everything. So, to say that I did it, and the three biggest problems, I, me, myself, are the three weapons that is going to create the self-destruction, that creates the screen of ignorance. So, Arjuna, here you see the reality. See me in you, and here I am. That Vishwarupa Darshana, Arjuna could not bear it. It is not for the human eyes, right? As we see the universe unraveling in front of us, we entered from the paper-based documentation to digital to computers, and now We have got AI totally, bewildering us. Oh, you mean to say artificial intelligence? No, 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 no. Augmentative intelligence? No. What's AI? It is Akara Vachya Indira Ramana. Akara is awakened. He is Indira Ramana, who is actually presenting himself in every statistical analysis, starting from the averages to sum to regressions to correlations, presenting it in a horizontal scaling. That's the reason he said, Pitahamasya Jagato Mata Data. At every stage, there is the playbook in Bhagavad Gita. If you basically look at the shlokas and not just know the word-to-word meaning, but meditate on it, Bhagavan says, I will unravel myself. But be very careful. For every human individual, Bhagavan Krishna is different. It is your personalized God. The beauty is, you don't have to go to Tirupati or Badari to see him. He is right here within us. He is right here making us talk about this Bhagavad Gita playbook. And that's the reason he says, Karmanye madhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan. Don't worry about the fruits. I will take care of it. Well, Krishna, what do I do? People who may love me, who may hate me, who may want to do harm. Well, it's very simple. Maitri, Karuna, Muditata, Upeksha. Basically, harmonize with them. Be their friend. If they appreciate it, then cry with them when they are in pain. Laugh with them when they are happy. If they are too destructive, just step away. I will take care of it. So whenever you get desperate because of your daily chores, challenges, projects, next stage in your life, Krishnam evam Jagadguru. He is always there with you, not just as some God somewhere, as your Guru, as your Sakha, as your best friend, because Dvasuparna Savita Sakaya. They are always there. The Pranadeva inside Paramatma, your best friends. And he's always coming, right? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirbhavati bharata abhyuthamam nama dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyam. Don't worry. If there is a need to set right the path towards greater good, Sambhava Yugi, I'll come. Don't you have any doubt? So, the entire concept of fear, Bhagavad Gita in its playbook for us, for daily living, clarifies that it is a sheath of ignorance. And this ignorance can only be thwarted, solved, dissolved by the meditation on Bhagavan Krishna. Bhagavan Krishna says, I am with you always. You may ask how. He comes in two flavors, like the ice cream. The strawberry, the chocolate, he comes as Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavata. So these two playbooks, which are directly directing us and then putting us on the path of fearlessness and permanent happiness. We need to use this because it has stood the test of time for the past 5,000 years. You need no other evidence more than that. So, in the end, the prayer is, Bhagavan, Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavai, Tejasvi Navaditamastu Mavidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Give me and my Guru the capability for him to teach, for me to understand. Since here Krishna is the Jagat Guru, Krishna, please make sure that you are able to communicate with me. I am able to see you in everything. Awareness. Presence is not awareness. Okay? The realization that the presence is always in the present. Whether it is in the past or the future, always in the present is the real Krishna Pratna. That is my story for today, and you bet I'm going to stick with it. Om Swasti.
Thank you very much. Very enlightening, good beginning for this seminar. Hope your message carries through the coming months and years. Hope your message carries through with all of us who are hearing from here and also online in the coming months and years. Thank you very much. So now we are having the second speaker. Yeah, mantra in Rig Veda goes like Utot tasmai tannam visastre jayeva patya ushati suvasa. It means that the Veda Mata chooses to reveal her deepest secrets to only to those she chooses. And that is called Rishi Bhava. And that is a very rare characteristic of a teacher of Brahma Mimamsa. And SSVD is very happy and very proud to invite back Sri Jayakrishna Nelamangala from our own congregation, who is from Virginia. So Sri Jayakrishna continues his studies he started with his elder brother, late Dr. N.V. Suparna Acharya, who learned from a stalwart of Vedanta from University of Mysore in early last century. So by the name Holavanalli N. Raghavendra Acharya, we call him, he goes by the name HNR. And he re-established a new interpretation or bring forth and lost interpretations of Vedanta of all three schools, focusing mainly on Tattvavada or Madhva's philosophy as the anchor around which he built his scholarship. See, Jayakrishna learned all his texts from his elder brother. He is an expert in Vedanta Prakarana Granthas. He has learned from his brother and later continued his studies on different Madhva Bhashyas, three texts on Brahma Sutra, all the Upanishads and Gita and other texts. He continues to teach 3 generations of students for last 30 plus more years. And he is a computer consultant, a senior consultant after his studies from Bangalore University and University of Pittsburgh. He is a father, he is a grandfather, and he is a teacher to many of us. He is also a student. He calls himself students of Sri Ananda Tirtha Madhvacharya. And we think he is the best one among us here to talk about the message of Gita, lessons of Gita on karma, jnana and bhakti for our day-to-day lives. So SSPD and all of us, we welcome Sri Jayakrishna to enlighten us more. Thank you.
Thank you. Gopal, for those nice words. Shri Gurubhyo Namah Harihi Om. Bhavati Adanubhavat Vedam Kopi Vadhu. Pravavati Vedamati Jayate Bhagyamaulihi. Sakala Vachana Cheto Bharati Sa Mama Vachasi Nidattam Sannidhim Manasecha. Today, the subject, that's jnana, karma and bhakti. There are 3 terms here. What we will do, we will look at them individually, what they are and what they are not, and then put it all together. And that's all we can do in the half an hour that I have been given. First, let's take karma. Let's take karma, which is Basically in English, it's called action. Karma is something that we all have to do. Even when you say, I'm not going to do anything, what you're doing actually is sitting quiet. That itself is a karma. When you're sleeping, you're doing this karma of sleeping. So what are you going to do? So karma is indispensable, in other words, for everybody, whether you're a knowledgeable or you're an ignorant person, makes no difference. In all cases, karma is indispensable. So the Vedanta advice from Sri Krishna is to do it properly. Anyway, you have to do it. Why don't you do it properly? What is that proper doing of karma? That's what in the words of Gita, yogaha karmasu kaushalam, he says. That is karma yoga. Do it as karma yoga. That is the right way to do it. We will look into that later. That's about karma. Then comes, of course, the function of karma is to get you a body. Yatha karma yatha shrutam, another Upanishad. Based on your previous karma, previous jnana, you will accordingly get a body in this life, which will help you take you further in your pursuit. Then comes jnana. Jnana is simply translated as knowledge. The moment jnana is mentioned, automatically we are mentioning three things. Knowledge, the knower, and the known. Some call it tripudi. Why? Because knowledge doesn't sit outside of beings. It's not something you can find on the wall. It's always is within a being. Whoever the being is, we call him Jnatri, the knower, Chaitanya. Then there is always an object for that knowledge. That's called Jnana, the known. Knowledge of what? If somebody comes and, hey, I know this, you know what? Knowledge of algebra, knowledge of tennis, knowledge of something. That something is called Jnana. It has become the object for that piece of knowledge. Of course, there's a lot to be said here, but I'm going to keep it simple. In Brahma Sutras, there is an entire section called Jnanapada. Similarly, there is an entire section called Bhaktipada. So all these words are very deeply studied first to get a better handle on all this. But we are going to cover the 101 level, the surface level here, what we can do. Then the third one is bhakti. Bhakti is, in English, right? You love your son, you love your wife, you love your father. There is only one word for all the three. Sanskrit, being the beautiful language that it is, it has three separate words for this, and one of them is bhakti. The love that you express towards your child is called vatsalya in Sanskrit. The love you have for your wife, for example, is called preeti. And the love you have for your father is called bhakti. So, why do we, in other words, when you understand someone's greatness, what all he has done for you, the reverence that automatically comes with it is called bhakti. So for you to get any kind of bhakti, you should understand why he is great to begin with. Your mother, for example, she has done so much, she has sacrificed so much for you. She carried you for 9 months in her stomach, just like that. So all this, because we know this, we have great reverence for our mother. Now, come to Vedanta. If God has given me everything, like what Dr. Purna Prasad was saying, then once you understand the greatness of what all has occurred before I entered into this system, what all system was already in place, and how I just became a pawn in all this, then his greatness is revealed by Shastra. Mahatma Jnana Purvastu Sura Sneho Bhaktiriti Prabhupada. That is the definition of bhakti. You need to understand the Mahatma, get the Mahatma Jnana of Paramatma first. Then the question of bhakti. But before the Jnana occurs, there is what is called Shraddha. That's why Shraddha Bhakti, Vedanta normally speaks about both. Shraddha could be Andhashraddha also. You don't know, but you are dedicated. Anyway, like, we all go to the temple morning, a 2-year-old, we show a picture of God and say, that's how we all began. Nothing wrong with that. But at some point, you are expected to understand what is it that we are devoted to and why. That's the jnana part. So your Shraddha, what started out as blind faith, becomes bhakti after jnana is interspersed in between. So Shraddha, jnana, bhakti. So it is only one iteration. Does jnana end? No, it doesn't. In fact, jnana of anything has. Universities are still doing research. Organic chemistry, has it ended? No. You go to any university, still there's a whole department doing research on it. So jnana of anything has never comes to an end. So also, the jnana of Paramatma, why should that end? Isn't it? After all, we are satyam jnanam anantam. By definition, it is ananta, isn't it? Therefore, the steps leading to that infinite entity cannot be finite. As simple as that. Those steps are called, there is a technical term for that. How do we get jnana? Jnana is, there are only 3 ways we all get jnana. One is by perception. Pratyaksha. Pratyaksham saptavidham sakshi shadindriya bhedena. In our Pramana Lakshana. Of course, I am not going to touch on all. As you can see, I'm just telling you, these are the things that are out there to be studied. That's all I can do here. It's like a hypertext. You touch on one thing, it opens up a whole page. That has multiple hypertext. You touch one of those, Vedanta is like that. That's why never give microphone to a Vedanta. You will never get it back. I'm trying to avoid being one of them. I will give it back. So this is, jnana. In the Krishna, in the Bhagavad Gita, nahi jnanena sadarisham pavitram. Mysore University has simply taken this as its logo. Because there is nothing much more sacred than jnana is. It cannot be. So the greatest puja we can all do to a concept called God is to study about that God, to understand. That is the biggest puja we can do. To get the correct estimate. Well, is it just the human effort? Human effort is also needed. There should also be the grace of God. Yasya deve para bhaktihi yata deve tada gurav Upanishads. Tasete gatita khettaha prakashante mahatmana. And therefore, the grace has to come from above. Human effort, both should be there. And then jnana. In fact, Krishna says, he is the one, he will lighten up the knowledge, the kindle the light of knowledge in the individual. He is the one Jnaninam, Jnanavatam, Jnanamaham, he says in the 10th chapter. I am the Jnana of, that is, I am the one, my vibhuti in them is such that they became Jnanis. Just as my vibhuti in you, Arjuna, has made you the greatest archer of all times, so also my vibhuti, Jnanis, is what makes them Jnanis. So however you look at it, the hand of Krishna cannot be ignored here. Now who is this Krishna? Even Arjuna thinks he is his friend for many years. But then in the 11th chapter, he gets corrected. He even regrets calling him, oh my friend, hey Krishna, hey Yadava, hey Saketi, Ajanatam Himananta Vedam. I didn't understand your greatness. So I called you my friend. Oh Krishna, come, let's go for dinner. I treated you like my friend. Nope, you are not one of them at all. He has realized. Ajanatam Ahimanam. I didn't understand your greatness. Anyway, that is Bhagavad Gita. So Jnana, Bhakti and Karma. Now, putting it all together, we said, anyway you have to do karma. Nobody can escape. Nahi kashchit kshanamapi jatutishta karma krita. You can say, and from tomorrow I am not going to do anything. Yeah. Are you going to brush your teeth or not? Right? So everybody has to do something. Now, karma yoga. Let's talk briefly about that. There are 4 parts to it. Some people call it karma chaturanga. It's like 4 corners of a chessboard. What are they? One is, of course, Paramatma Jnana. Without Paramatma Jnana, you will think I am the one doing it. To correct all that, there is the entire Shastra. So you need to get. If God is making me do all this, then who is this God? Why should He alone make me do, etc.? All these questions should arise. So that leads us to the knowledge of God. That is the first corner of the Karma Chaturanga. And then second one is Karma Anushtana. You have to actually perform karma. Right? What should I perform? Well, it's called, based on your varna and ashrama, there is a certain thing prescribed to you. Right? It differs from person to person. If I am a policeman, right, I have a certain duty to perform. I stand there, whoever is going above the limit, I give him a ticket. That's my job. Right? That's the duty. If I am a cook, I am supposed to prepare food for everybody. That's my duty. At that time, you cannot go and give speeding tickets. No. The policeman shouldn't come and start cooking where people are speeding away on the road. No. Both of them have failed in their duties if they did that. So each one has to do his own prescribed duty. That's one thing. So Svavihita karma, that is whatever is prescribed duty, based on varnashrama. Then Paramatma Jnana, second one. Third one is Tyaga, and fourth one is Sannyasa. These are the 4 corners of Karma Yoga or Karma Chaturanga. What is Sannyasa here? Sannyasa is Karmanyeva adhikaraha te ma phaleshu. That is the sannyasa. You should do karma, but while doing karma, you should not keep the results in your mind. For example, if you are writing an exam, oh, how many marks will I get? 90, 95, or only 35 will I fail? Well, if you waste your time sitting in the exam, thinking about the result of what your results should be, then you are simply wasting your time. Don't do that. Just write the exam well and walk out. You fail, the results will come later. Right? So that will happen. So results will anyway come later. In the Shrutis, right? Yam kamayate, whatever desire one gets. Tat kratur bhavati. Kratu means one makes a preparation for that. Yat kratur bhavati tat karma kurute. Whatever you are prepared for, you are going to do that action. Yat karma kurute tad abhisambhatyata. And you are going to get the results of what you did. So we are all today what we are because of what we have been doing. That is the result. This applies to everyone sitting in this room. But is it only what we did in this janma? No, because we have been doing this for a while. From how long? Karma is anadi. Anadi karma. Anadi vidya karma vaichitryat. Vaichitryam says. This because vidya karma, which is to learn. There is also another karma. Going to school and learning, earning jnana is actually a karma, isn't it? It's called vidya karma. Because there is a gradations of vidya karma. Now the vaichitra, each one is different. They have all come to that state from different paths into that. And that's what makes them what they are today. That is the vaichitra you see in this population. People are different because of their vidya karmas are different. Anadi vidya karma vaichitra vaichitram. Powerful state. Now, so that is the third phase of karma phalatyaga. That is, don't do karma for the result's sake. Results will anyway come. Sometimes what should be good, you think, is actually bad. What you think is bad is actually good. So all the karma phala, because it was never in your hands to begin with. That is the message of Gita. The fourth one is tyaga. Tyaga is ishvararpanam. That is, you submit all you do to Paramatma. Because why? Without him, you couldn't have done it anyways. So it has to go back to where it came from. That is the arpana. Kamalanabhyarpita, finding the root of. That's how you translate it. So you find the root of all your action. There is a technical term again. It's called Vishnu Padaika Samshayatva. And those who have it, those are the fit people for jnana. I'm not going to go into details here, but it is there. So thus, karma yoga, consisting of these four, if you did that, whatever comes your way, you know that it has been given to you. Take it as an opportunity. Don't walk away like Arjuna was about to walk away. Take it as an opportunity. Do it as a service to God. Puja antu madu illa. Then everything will be all right. Krishna even goes one step further. Abhichedasi pavebhyah sarvebhyah papakrittamaha, he says. Even though you may have done the most heinous act in life, even then, sarvam jnana paveneva prajanam santarishyasi. Your jnana will make you sail through all that. Don't worry. So that kind of assurance is given. So this karma, doing karma yoga automatically involves jnana and karma. Where does bhakti fit in? Bhakti is actually, it is a mindset, isn't it? So your mindset, your preparation of your mind to receive the knowledge of God is called bhakti. That's what bhakti really is. So rest of it, we think, we go and do devote, be devoted to a certain God, He will give us what we want. No, that's all laukika. That's not what we're talking. In Vedanta, the mind preparation to receive the knowledge of God is bhakti. And if you just prepare the mind and leave it there, like many yoga classes teach you, don't think of anything, 0 thoughts per second or whatever they call it. Well, you have a clean mind. Your blood pressure is low, it has done its job. But is that enough? So the dhyana of the Bhagavad Gita is not the dhyana of the yoga class. Please remember that. Why Shruti Vipratipannate yada sthasthiti nishtala? That is the jnana we are talking about here. First you should get a good, firm understanding of Veda. Shruti. Vipratipanna, uncontroversial meaning. Once you say jnana, there are all kinds of controversies start here. I mean, each one says a different thing. That's why, when it comes to the jnana, bhakti and karma and all that, right? Different acharyas have looked at it differently, right? Srimad Madhvacharya says, well, jnana prachura, wherever there is predominance of one, we give it a name. They are not different. They're all, because without jnana you couldn't have done karma anyways. And some jnana, to obtain jnana, whatever you do, that is also another karma. So jnana and karma are not really different. But still, we call it jnana yoga, karma yoga, to see what is predominant. Like in the words of Gita, Janakadaya, he used the word Janaka. If you are like a king, Janaka, then you have a certain karma, you have to administer the land, right, with your kingdom. So he has a different responsibility. But if you are a yati, right, or taken a mendicant in an ashram or someplace, then you have very little to worry about how to administer this kingdom. You have other things to worry about. And therefore, jnana prachara, wherever there is more of meditation, teaching and learning and that kind of activity going on, there is jnana prachara. Prachara means predominance. It's called jnana prachara. That is called jnana yoga. And karma yoga is where karma is predominant, like for a grihastha or for a king. So we have seen great grihasthas being great jnanis, like H.N.R. Bananjay. They were all grihasthas. And then again, not every yati is a great jnani. All right? I'm not going to elaborate on that. I'm sure you have seen all that in your lives. So, in Shankara's, right, according to him, only jnana is prescribed for the higher beings. Karma is prescribed for the lower beings. That is his take on Gita. Well, Arjuna is being taught, he is asked to fight the war here, and therefore karma is being prescribed for Arjuna, which means Arjuna must be a lower jnani, according to him. But then it's not quite right, because if you study Gita, in the 11th chapter, Sri Krishna himself says, well, whatever he has seen as Vishwarupa, you are the first one in the entire mankind, he says. Now, how can you call him mediocre now? When whoever is writing Arjuna as mediocre, they were not listed at all, because Arjuna was the first one to see, not them. Hello. And therefore, however you look at it, Arjuna cannot be considered. In fact, karmani eva adhikaraha te, in the te word, that is to you, although it is addressed to one single person, Arjuna. Although you are a jnani, jnani no, in the Bhashya, Madhva explains all this. Arjuna is no ordinary guy. He is Indra himself, and Indra being one who has given Vishwamitra Brahmopadesha, who has gone to Chaturmukha Brahma and learned Veda. So Indra is no ordinary student of Shastra at all. Even in Kenopanishad, right? Parvati herself comes as teacher to Indra. You know all this. I assume you all know all this. But anyway, so Indra is no ordinary soul. And that is what Arjuna is. So he is one of the greatest jnanis that was there. But at that, briefly for that time, he had some kind of moha, bandhu moha, which Sri Krishna had to ward off so that he can do his duty and why he has come here to begin. In the process, we were all blessed with Bhagavad Gita. Thank God Arjuna got confused. If there was no confusion, where would we go without Bhagavad Gita? That's why when a great jnani, he gets angry, like Durvasa cursing everybody left and right, it's good for the society. We would not have known the greatness of Krishna if he had not cursed that Akshaya Patra, whatever that story is. Like that, every time a jnani does, although it looks somewhat weird from an outsider's point of view, it is all to establish the greatness of Paramatma. That is the only reason. Similarly, Arjuna getting confused is also like that. So all good things happen because a jnani is doing his whatever he was ordained to do at that moment. We may not understand, but jnanis do understand. Anyway, coming back to this. Bhagavad Ramanuja's take on this entire thing, Bhagavad Gita, the way he has interpreted is, he thinks karma is what is prescribed in the Gita, and everything else he tries to interpret in terms of that. Why? His reasoning is, karma is for everybody, right? But jnana is not for everybody. After all, what is jnana? You ask anybody, there are so many Vedantas, nobody agrees with anybody else, everybody is always arguing, I am right, you are wrong. So it's pretty confusing, vague, and therefore, whereas karma is common across, go to your temple, do archana, come back, kind of thing. So everybody can do, anybody can do. So it is common and uniform, and therefore karma is the one that is predominant in the Gita, and that one accordingly others will follow. Jnana and Bhakti, etc. So that is the take by Sri Ramanuja. I'm going to stop here. If you have any questions, probably there will be a session on Q&A later. We will deal with that. Tatha Gurudattam Tathaiva Bhavati. Samyak Guru Prasadascha Mukhyato Drishti Karanam.
Jayakrishna ji said it is dangerous to give a microphone to a Vedantic. He doesn't know the beauty of the microphone to a professor is even worse.
Can I get
Yeah, I know. I will hold it closer, but that's even more dangerous. So, but Vasu and Gopal was wise to let me know that your job is only to introduce the speaker and not start talking about Vedanta. So I keep my to the introduction. And we are really fortunate, to have with us Dr. Kalika Uttarkar. Particularly, with all the difficulties in travel last night, with all the storm and the diversions and all that, she took a long route from Dallas to come here by midnight. So thank you for coming, and we appreciate that. And I just wanted to make sure you all know that she has been lecturing different folks in different formation. Thank you. Because for me, usually it is given, adjusted. So I make a lot of motion in my hands. That's why the hand is not there. And she gives a lot of, talks about philosophical schools and all those things. But, here, and she also want to make sure she's the director of community education, Hindu University of America, and the faculty of graduate divisions of HUA. She is a distinguished scholar who holds both MA and PhD degrees in philosophy from the University of Pune. Additionally, she has earned a master's in psychotherapy and counseling. As a physician, I'm very interested, in terms of that aspect of her expertise as well. And Kalika ji has over 25 years of experience in teaching yoga and philosophy to generations of Hindus in India and United States. She has made significant contributions to the fields of philosophy, yoga, mental health counseling, as yoga and psychological counselor, motivational speaker, and the creator of a YouTube channel dedicated to parenting, relationships, and self-help. This is something that you may really want to, especially those of us who have raised kids here, and the challenges that goes with it. And she addresses brilliantly in terms of how to handle that. So for both parents and for the group to see those channels, that will be very helpful. She actively explores the intersection of Indian philosophy, yoga, and psychology to discern the relevance in contemporary human life, which is, one of the things all of our speakers have been trying to do is not just talk about the philosophy of the scriptures, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, but its relevance to modern life is what all of you are trying to do, which we thank you so much, for that. At current programs, reaching out to Hindu parents and young adults, Gita Riksha and Gita Camp empower young Hindu generations to apply our own timeless wisdom when facing contemporary challenges. We heartily welcome Dr. Kalika Uttarkar. We are also trying from the Sishvavishnu temple to see how we can bring it on in terms of, at least online, to the devotees here, and we will keep you posted on that. She's going to be talking today about Kathopanishad and its relevance to modern life. With that, I present Dr. Uttarkar.
So, thank you so much for those generous words, and I'm honored to be amongst all the Vidwat scholars and also with the audience who is also so enriched themselves with listening, reading, and internalizing the knowledge. So I take it as my honor, and I thank SSVT Temple for having me here. So let us start with the Upanishadic mantra. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Take me from ignorance to light. Asato, take me from unreal to real. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. That is, take me from ignorance to light. Mrityur ma amrutam gamaya. Take me from mortality to immortality. Now this last sentence is a big promise that Upanishads give us. So we just listened about Bhagavad Gita. How Bhagavad Gita is a playbook, how Bhagavad Gita can be our friend, philosopher and guide throughout our life. How Bhagavan Sri Krishna is a constant guide who is within us and who can lead us from ignorance to light. Now the whole purpose of Shruti and Smruti is considered to be one single purpose, and that is Dukkha Nivrutti. Now this concept of Dukkha, sorrow, as being part of everybody's life. So when we say what is Sukha and what is Dukkha, Anukul Vedanam Sukham, Pratikul Vedanam Dukkham. So anything that is pratikula, unfavorable, not according to my expectations, human mind immediately becomes sad, angry, agitated, irritated. And then all that best we have within ourselves suddenly drops down. And then I'm angry. I might say something to others which I may regret later or I may not. But whatever happens is, when there are adverse conditions, when there are conditions which are not favorable to me, I lose my basic connection with myself. I lose my connection with my inner divinity, and then I operate on the other level. So now, today talking about Kathopanishad becomes so relevant, as Bhagavad Gita has a profound background of the battlefield where Sri Krishna and Arjuna are standing in between the Kaurav and the Pandavas, and Arjuna is telling Sri Krishna that, look, they are all my people. Instead of killing them, I will take sannyas and go away. And let me not fight this. I don't want anything. Similarly, there is another powerful story of Nachiketa, which comes in the Upanishads. And I thought that as we all have an Arjun within us, it is also required that we also have a Nachiketa within us. And what is knowledge? Right? We talk a lot about knowledge. Rather, we all study. Like, Punarapi Janmam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam. That is what Shankaracharya says. Why I am saying this, quoting this? Because we all are born, we all go to school, then we all study. Our parents tell us, study hard, study hard. We don't know why we should study hard, but everybody is telling us. We also think this is good, we have to study hard. Then they say, because you have to get into a very good college. So yes, that is the goal of my life. We strive, and then we go into a very good college. Then, no, now you have to find a very good partner. Let us do that also. Within a year, people start asking, how about your family? Grandparents are so excited. No, we want somebody small in the house. Fine. So we have kids. Is that the end? No. Then we put them again in the school. And the same race begins. And then we want them to get married. Then we want them to have kids. So this continuously goes on and on and on. It never stops. What is the purpose of all this? Everything is happening again and again. As grass is grown, Nachiketa in one of his discussion with his father, he says, Sasyameva pachate. So as the corn grows, yes. So as the grass grows and then it dries off, and again the seeds fall down, and then again the grass grows. So is it that what is life? Why are we living the life that we are living? I want to ask you a very simple question. Why are you all here today? Why are we here today? Is there a question in our mind? Is it there something that we want to know? Is it there something that we are looking forward to understand, to gain, to look at another perspective, to get some insights? What is all this? This is curiosity. So, the story starts with Nachiketa, a very young boy, Kishore Avastha, and his father, Vajasrava, has conducted a yajna which is called Vishwajit. In this particular sacrifice yajna, we have to renounce everything that we have. And so he is donating everything that he is having. So he is a very renowned teacher. Gurukul is there. He is very, samruddha. He is very enriched with all the resources, and now he is giving away everything in this Vishwajit Yajna. Nachiketa is very curious about the whole process, and he is happy that his father is doing something so great. But slowly he realizes that his father is giving away those cows who can no longer eat another meal. He is giving away those cows which will never give milk, which will never bear a child again. So these are all those kind of cows and cattle which have completed their life journey, and now they are no longer useful, and my father is giving away as a sacrifice, as a dhan. So he feels that something is wrong. Our children are our mirrors. However we speak, however we talk, and however we claim, the truth is in front of them. So if somebody's children are respecting them, you have won the battle. Otherwise, it is very important that we walk the talk. If we don't walk the talk, whatever we talk has no meaning. When our children see that, that is something we can do in parenting. So, not digressing into that topic, though it is one of my favorite topics. Nachiketa also thought that why this is happening, we call it dissonance. In the term of psychology, we call it dissonance. That is, there is no connection between what I talk and how I behave. There is a difference between what ought to be and what is to be. What is, right? So Nachiketa is saying, my father is claiming so much, and then why is he doing this? Let me go and ask him. And he should get punya, right? Everything is done for punya. And Vajasrava is doing because he wanted good results out of this sacrifice. So it was a sakama yajna. He had some desires which need to be fulfilled. So Nachiketa feels that if he is not doing it rightly, then he should donate something which is very dear to him. And what could be more dear to his father than his own son? So he goes and asks his father, whom are you going to donate me to? Father looks at the child, such a weird question, right? He ignores. He is busy in his work. Again this child goes and persistently asks him, whom are you going to give me to? His father is irritated. He said, go, I give you to Yama. So, in all vernacular languages, this kind of expression is there in India. In Marathi, we say, ja mar. Similarly, I'm sure all other languages would have. That really doesn't mean anything significant. It is just the irritation. And don't trouble me. But Nachiketa is a sincere boy. And then he's thinking, oh, when I am best amongst the best and doing everything so good, why my father is giving me to Yama? And then he goes and asks him. Now the father realizes, oh, what have I said? And this person, fully an epitome of truth, is Nachiketa. He says, now I have to go to Yama. But before that he tells his father, remember what your ancestors have done. And remember what you are doing. Every action has a reaction. So whatever you are doing, one needs to think about that. Just that much, he says, and he leaves. Now he goes to Yama. Yama, as usual, is traveling, very busy person. He has so much to do, right? The cycle has to keep going, right? So he waits there for 3 days without having anything, no food, no water, nothing. Yama comes back and he says, this young boy is waiting here for so long. I will give you 3 bowls. You should, get something because it is bad on my part that I had to keep you waiting. Nachiketa is a smart boy. He says, first boon is, when I go back to my house and I meet my father, he should have no anger and he should accept me with the same love. One boon, and how many things he has asked? From Yama, I have to go back. So he is not going to die. Then he is going to meet his father. So his father will be in guilt. So he has to come out of that. And then that relationship of love that they had, it has to be re-established. So first things first. He asks this. Yama is also curious and happy about this child, but he says, okay, ask about the next. He says, teach me that Agni, because of which we achieve Swarga, heaven. Yama says, okay, granted. And he gives him knowledge about the Agni, which he names as Nachiketa Agni. What is this? If we have to understand the concept of Vidya and Avidya that comes in Ishavasyopanishad. Para and Apara Vidya, which comes in Mundakopanishad. So he gives him the knowledge of the worldly things, which is called Nachiketa Agni. Practicing that, one achieves immortality. Are we experiencing immortality now? To some extent, yes, right? All this medical knowledge that has been developed so far. Earlier, what was the average age of human beings? Now it is so prolonged. So in a way, we have enhanced our worldly life to an amazing capacity. And this is the power of worldly knowledge, or which we call as avidya, or which we call as the science of the world. So first Nachiketa learns that. So Ishavasya Upanishad says that without avidya, if you do vidya, you will go into ghor andhakar. You will doom yourself further. So that means in this world, as our scholars were just telling, that we have to do karma. How do we do karma? We have to understand this whole science of this world. So that is very significant. Nachiketa learns that. Now the real punch comes when he says, ask for the third boon. And Nachiketa says that when somebody dies, some people say that he exists, and some people say that he doesn't exist. What really happens? Have our children asked us about this? Yes. Whenever first time when they come across this concept of death, they do ask us, what is death and what do we do? Hey, don't talk. Let us talk later. Is death to be feared? Is death to be avoided, and can we avoid? All these questions are there. So Nachiketa is asking Yama, who would be the better guide than you yourself to tell me what happens after death? Yama laughs off. He says, come on, don't ask me this question. I'll give you the full kingdom of 3 worlds. I will give you Apsara, I will give you 100 years of life or even more. All the worldly things that can be given, he tells him. Nachiketa says, keep it all to yourself. I don't want it. Very simple. How would an 8-year-old boy talk? Whatever you are telling that you want to give me, I don't want it. You keep it to yourself. Tell me about something that is not perishable. And this is the mumukshatva of Nachiketa. And this has to be within us. We need to ask questions. We need to tell our children to ask questions. We need to find answers. As parents, we may not be perfect. As individuals, we are never perfect. But we can pull them in this co-journey of knowledge, of understanding. What is truth? What is reality? Who I am? What is going to happen after death? If these larger than life questions are not given prominence in our life, children will alienate and they won't come to this kind of, this kind of discussions, right? We want them here. I'm here in SSVT from Hindu University of America because we are trying to bring the young generation back to Hinduism, back to Sanatana. And how will they come? We have to respect the Nachiketa within them. We need to come down and talk to them at their level, in their vocabulary, and ask questions and let them ask questions. So this Vidwat Sabha, if it happens in every house, then our children will become the ambassadors of our culture, heritage. They will not alienate. So that is something we need to do. And that Nachiketa is to be brought into life. That Nachiketa has to be encouraged. Going forward, what does Yama tell Nachiketa? He says that, I will tell you. And first understand that na jayate mriyate va kadachinnayam. That something that is there within you, which is called as Atman, it never dies. Rather, it never takes birth also. It is always there. It is constantly there. Let us do one small exercise. What is this? Na jayate mriyate va. What is there within us? Let us do one small exercise, because sitting for a long time and listening to people like us is not easy, right? So I would say, close your eyes, everybody. Close your eyes. Remember the first day of your school, when you went to school, and similarly as today you are sitting there also. Just go back in that time. Then slowly come into those days when you were in your high school. You had friends in your class, you were sitting in that class, somebody is teaching. Now come into your college days. Then come into those days when you got married, you had children. Pick any day in that phase of life. And now experience this moment today when we are sitting. Open your eyes. How many people did you meet? Can anybody tell me? How many people did you meet? 4?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Somebody wants to say something? Yes.
Hello.
Hello? Oh, okay, it's online. Okay. So, I would say that we were different in all stages.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Just pause for a second. I'll just complete this and I'll come
But I
back to
can't
you.
hear you.
Okay. So, the point that I'm trying to make is, if I say that you are not the same person that you were in your kindergarten, that was a different person. You are a different person. What would you say? No, it was me only. I'll show you a photograph. Black and white, one picture is there. I was the one in that kindergarten. But yes, my thoughts have changed, my emotions have changed, my personality has changed, my body has changed. But I am the same person. So this David Chalmer has a problem, which we call as hard problem of consciousness. Why? Because he thinks that consciousness comes out of matter. He doesn't know how to understand this subjective, singular experience of existence. This continuous experience that I exist. How do we understand that is their problem? We don't have, because everybody tells us consciousness is prior to matter. So Vedanta doesn't have a problem. Right? So, this continuous experience that I exist, irrespective of everything that is changing in my life, is there with all of us. You call it Shiva, you call it Brahman, you call it Krishna, call it anything. It is that. But this experience of us existing as a witness is there within us. We are experiencing this divinity, just that there's a lot of dust on it. For example, if there is a bucket full of water and somebody comes and says, I want to see the bottom of the bucket. So he will put hands into the bucket and where is the bottom? Where is the bottom? I cannot see it. What happens? With all those ruffles and ripples in the water, we can never see the water, bottom of the bucket, right? That is happening with us also. So all that thoughts, emotions and all that movement that is happening within us, we are forgetting to go behind that. And this is what in Kathopanishad, Yama tells Nachiketa. Understand that Atman which is within you, understand that divinity which is within us, experience that. Then further he comes with a very beautiful concept of a Ratha, chariot. And this is taken forward in all the Smriti Granthas also. The concept comes from Kathopanishad. Imagine a chariot, it has horses and it is running on the path. Now to understand this analogy, this path is the attractions that we come across. Horses are our sensory experiences, sense organs. And who runs them? The ring. That is the mind. That is the Indra. Right? as he said, it is the Indra, mind. But that mind is also not always under the control. So there is a charioteer, and that is the intellect, buddhi. But is this the end of the chariot? No. There is somebody sitting in the chariot. That is the passenger who is watching everything. That is the owner of the chariot, who is observing everything. And he is just witnessing. But for him, the chariot is moving. So that is the analogy, how we understand ourselves also. So when we are always focusing all our awareness outside us, we forget to look within us. So when we are focusing all our consciousness, that is consciousness of something. It's always consciousness of something. Consciousness in itself is different. So translating Brahman as consciousness is not right. Rather, most of the Sanskrit words cannot be translated in English. So what we generally talk about is Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. We talk about this. Now, when Upanishad tells that you understand yourself through this analogy, then, okay, I have understood. But now how do I actually act? Then comes the concept of Shreyas and Preyas. What is Shreyas and what is Preyas? These days children ask a question, why morality? We tell them, be moral, being moral is good and all that. But the question is, why should I become moral? Why should I follow Chitta Shuddhi? What is the purpose of all this? Why should I become Parishuddha, Shuddha? Why? Because it takes us to Shreyas. Morality, art, philosophy, science, everything should take us to that which is Shreya, that which is constant, that which is beyond space, time and causation. And prayers is nothing but that which takes us to the momentary world. So the joy that we get from the momentary world is going to be limited and temporary. Joy is not bad, it is just temporary. So we need to discern between what is temporary and what is constant. Sat, Sat, Viveka, Buddhi. What is Sat, what is Asat. So if we can make a discussion between these two, and if we can talk about this to our children, then always make a choice that takes us towards understanding and staying in that understanding that I am divine. Divinity is within me. That which is immortal. So this is being immortal and not identifying ourselves with everything that is changing, everything that is mortal. In this way, it is taking Mrityurma Amrutam Gamaya. That which is perishable, I should not identify myself. Now, how to bring all this in real life is the core question. With that, I will end. The core question is, every morning when we wake up, remind yourself that I am that divinity or divinity is within me. Either way is fine. So how do I recollect that? Smile once you wake up. How many of you smile? Right? We smile for something. That is not Ananda. Smiling because you are Ananda is the beginning in the morning. So if we can start with that, smile more. These days even kids are not smiling that much. They look at you. Why is this person smiling? What is the reason of smiling? Smiling shouldn't be for any reason. Smiling is our nature. Anandam Brahmeti Vijana. Ananda is within us. So we can do that. And if we do this more and more, automatically the problems are smaller than us. We become bigger than the problem. So all that stress, anxiety, frustration, everything slowly becomes less and it becomes easier to navigate through that. So I think as organizers rightly said, don't give mic to a professor and to a Vedantic. So we can go on and on, but I think at this point I will stop, and later on in the Q&A session probably we'll take some questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kalika ji. That was a wonderful exposition of Kathopanishad, Gita, and how you have to raise children. That's a lesson for all of us. So hope to hear more from you in the future. So let's give her another round of applause. Next speaker will be joining us from Bangalore, India. He is one of the rare people, who is mastered the highest levels of Vedantic learning in the traditional Gurukula system. And also at the same time, he has mastered artificial intelligence. He is teaching artificial intelligence in Institute of Science and IIT Delhi. So he's master of both worlds. And he's got a startup, AI startup also. And he has released a tool recently where if you give any shloka in text format, it will pronounce it correctly in the Sanskrit shloka. He has put the entire Bhagavata on YouTube. It's available on YouTube. I can send the link. So anybody who wants to listen to Bhagavata while looking at the shlokas on the screen can watch the YouTube videos. So we are also sending a sign-up list. So if you are interested in future programs like this, please sign up your names here. So with this, I want to introduce Dr. Pratosh Acharya. He has been a student of Shastras from the age of 8. He has studied Nyaya, Vyakarana and Vedanta in the Gurukula system, including in the Madhva Vedanta we call it Sudha Vyasa Traya. So those are the hardest works of Madhva Vedanta. Nyaya Sudha, Magnum Opus of Tattvavada by Jayatirtha, Tarka Tandava, Tatparya Chandrika, Niyamrita of Sri Vyasa Tirtha, under the guidance of Sri Sheshgiri Acharya. Professionally, he is the Assistant Professor of Artificial Intelligence associated with IISc in IIT Delhi, and he is the co-founder of the AI startup Latent Force. He has developed several AI tools to enable the study and the Shastras and modern technology, like this tool I just now mentioned. He talks frequently at the relevance of Shastras in today's world, which are highly appreciated in YouTube. You can see a number of talks. So today also we're going to talk about the same topic, the relevance of Shastras in today's world. So hopefully we have the Zoom connection ready to go. Let's give him another round of applause. We have a technical difficulty. We'll be able to hear him, but he is not able to hear us. So we have to work with this technical.
I think he
can hear us now. Okay. Pratosh Acharya, can you hear us?
is muted.
Okay. Can you unmute?
Yeah, since I don't get any feedback, I don't know when am I supposed to talk. So I'm looking what
You can talk now, Pratosh. Pratosh, you can talk now.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Please go ahead. Yeah, we just completed the
I have
introductions.
zero feedback. So how do I know that you are even able to listen to me? Can you hear me?
Not able to hear us. Give us a bit.
Can you hear me? If someone can just raise their hand or something. Okay, thanks, yeah. Yeah, thanks a lot. Okay, let me know when I should start, I'll start. Okay. I should not be asking any questions because there is absolutely no feedback whatsoever. Okay, so maybe I will just start. Namaskar. So what language do you want me to use? English is fine, English, Kannada, whichever. English is okay? English is fine, okay. Okay, so namaste to all of you. So greetings from India. Right now I'm in Mysore, my hometown. And today is Ekadashi for us, so greetings of Ekadashi. Let me just start my question with I think he's calling me, just a second. Sir, namaskar, Hedi. No, okay. Oh, maybe it was a mistake, okay. Okay, so let me start. So I have about 20 minutes, is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me start. Shri Krishna Ashtadosha Gandhaya Kalyana Gunasindhave Namo Namo Bhakta Muktidayine Sheshashayine रमणीन् भवसन्तापं रमयन् साधुचातकान् कृष्णमेघः कृपादृष्टिवृष्ट्या पुष्णातु मामपि श्रीमदानन्दतीर्थालये पाठपङ्कजरेणवः पवित्रयन्तु मां नित्यं पाठपण्डिताः आपादमौलिपर्यन्तं गुरूणामाख्यं स्मरेत् येन विघ्नाः प्रणश्यन्ति सिद्ध्यन्ति च मनोरथाः. Okay. So first of all, I'm very happy to be a part of this gathering. It's really heartening to see that you people have come together for this Goshti. We can't get these many people in India and other kind of places. I think it's such a nice thing to see a good gathering that to discuss on these kinds of philosophical topics. So today I was told by Vasamurthy that I should be talking about the relevance of Mantra Shastra in current day scenarios, right? I think we are seeing. So when he introduced me, perhaps he would have introduced me as an AI scientist. That's what I do for a living. And I also happen to luckily have a lot of exposure to Mantra Shastra. I've been a student of Mantra Shastra for about 25 years now. So the thing is, I just share a few thoughts that I have been pondering upon recently, and the more I think about the Shastras, the more I teach them, the more I look at them, the more my admiration is towards Mahotsavam, right? I mean, I'm not saying this just for the sake of it. This is not lip service. I'll give you concrete examples of why I'm saying what I'm saying. The question is that, I mean, some of you may know that we call the works of Madhacharya are referred to as Sarvamula Granthas, Sarvamula they are called, they are 37 in number. There's a reason why they are called Sarvamula. As the very word says, they are the bedrock of all the philosophical knowledge that flows from. I mean, the famous Nyaya Sutha is a commentary of Vidwat Vyakhyana. It's the magnum opus of Jayakrishna, which is very well celebrated, which is a philosophical jewel in itself. So the thing is, no, we celebrate Srimad Acharya as the incarnation of the all-knowing Vayu, Sarvajnatama. So which means that my hypothesis has been the following, that any kind of question or any kind of problem that comes up in the gamut of philosophical world, one should be able to find an answer in Sarvamula Granthas, right? Because Acharya has the idea should not be time bounded. If there is a question that has come up in, let's say, 30th century or 50th century on something which is deeply philosophical, you should be able to find an answer in Sarvamula Granthas, because that's otherwise the very definition gets burdened. Okay. Now, whatever the questions are, right? I mean, be it arising from an advent or a breakthrough in technology, or it is coming from a human crisis, as long as it is concerning the Jiva, the Brahmatma, and the relationship between the nature and the Jiva and the Brahmatma and so on, Sarvamula should have dealt with that question in some form or the other. So that has been my belief for very long. Now, recently, a lot of you might have seen this happening, right? I mean, we have seen unprecedented shift in the technological landscape. Okay. So, all these years, we thought that we are human beings because we could think, right? So, or rather think in a certain plane, and we are intelligent, and no animal can do that, and it is us as human beings who have been bestowed upon that capability called intelligence and thinking, and it is because of that we make ourselves humans. But come artificial intelligence, okay, so there are these machines that have started to think. I should put that word think within the quotes. Whoever has been with these AI machines would know how intelligent they are, and they can solve, they can answer questions, they can solve tasks for you, they can code, they can solve math, they can create poetry, all this can be done. Now, one of the fundamental tenets of the Shastra is this idea of eternal difference. It is also called Panchabheda, right? There are these ontological realities that have been embarked, and these are the Jiva Tattva, the Isha Tattva, and the Jada, right? Which is the, you can broadly call it as the sentient and Ishvara, God if you will, and the Jada. Now, Acharya very vehemently says that these are fundamentally very different, and the difference is very innate to the particular ontological truths. So the Jada and the Jiva, they are completely different by definition, is what Acharya says. And what is the definition of Chaitanya or Jiva? The very word Chaitanya, right, stems from this dhatu chiti sannyane, that literally translates to something or some entity that can think. Okay. Now, if machine starts thinking, so what is the problem? I mean, a lot of people, my philosophical friends stemming from other schools of Indian philosophy, has no problem with it, because for them the Veda, Jada Jiva Veda, is not a fundamental ontological reality. But in the Tattvada school of philosophy, one of the fundamental aspects of this five innate differences is this Jiva Jada Veda. Now, the Lakshana of Chetana or Jiva is thinking. Now, imagine what happens if machines start thinking. So, Jada possesses this quality of thinking. Now, what does that mean? If the Lakshana of the Jiva is seen in the Jada, then where is this fundamental difference of Jiva Jada Veda? Now, what happens is, for a person who has some exposure to Shastras and also quite a bit of exposure to the state-of-the-art machine learning or AI algorithms, so that's what I built. Now, seeing these machines starting to think, and I mean, today's biologists, or rather the materialists, will brush it aside, saying that, I mean, this is what we have been saying all the while, right? I mean, intelligence is an emergent phenomenon. So it just emerges out of biology. So now, instead of emergence out of biology, it has emerged out of silicon. That's it. Okay, so we have done something, intelligence has emerged. So there are lots of interesting experiments that people have conducted that would show that that would point towards this intelligence being an emergent phenomenon. Now, given that this intelligence is emergent, where did the Panchabheda go is the question. So this question was sort of bothering me for a long time, and I was looking at formulas and see what answers would come. And of course, Acharya did not take up the questions that artificial intelligence in 21st century would pose. However, as I said, if our belief that Srimad Acharya is Sarvajna, right? He is somebody, see, for all we know, we Madhvas believe that he is the incarnation of Vayu, Mukhya Prana, who resides in the hearts of everybody. Now, if that is the case, then he is residing in my heart, your heart, and the question that I get into my mind, he should definitely have gotten it. And there should be some pointer towards the question that I am getting in Sarvamula was the hope. Now, to my pleasant surprise, Acharya sort of dealt with it. Of course, he has not said that, some AI would come up, but these questions are coming and this is how the answer is. But there is one of Acharya's work, okay, which is called Vishnu Tattva Vidarnaya. Okay, it is one of his Dasha Prakarana. So there are these short treatises that Acharya has written, and one of them, which is the largest, is called Vishnu Tattva Vidarnaya. There, incidentally, right, I mean, when he is defining some of the ontological realities, he gives an extraordinary definition for what constitutes a jiva. Okay, then he says, I quote, the verse is as follows: Ahamityeva yovetyaha sajiva iti kirtitaha sadukhi sasukhi thaiva sapahatram bandhamokshayoho. So this may become a little pedantic, because but bear with me, this is supposed to be a Vidwat Goshti, right? And I was asked to talk about this. So now, let's think about the definition of what constitutes a Chetana, right? All the philosophers that came in Indian schools of philosophy, all the Shatdarshanavadis, right, including Nayayikas, defined a Jiva as the possessor of knowledge. You see? So, Jnana Adhikarana Atma is what the Nayayikas say. So, the Jnana, intelligence, if you think that of as an attribute, the possessor of that attribute, which is Jnana, is defined as Jiva. Now, if you give this sort of a definition, then what happens is that now silicon also has started to show the signature of jnana. So silicon or rather machines also started becoming jnana adhikarana. Now that's when the Lakshana starts having this dosha called Ativeta, right, where it has overstepped on something that it was not supposed to cover. Now that is when we have the problem with the Panchaveda idea. Now, if you take the definition that Acharya gives in our Siddhanta, right, it is not Jnana Adhikarana who is the Atma, but Atma is the knower of the knowledge. Ahamityeva yovedya sadi vaikikirtitaha sayeva asmakam sakshi, says Raksha in Paratandava. But here is the idea, right? There is even modern psychologists recognize this as metacognition. Shastras call it Anuvavasaya. What is the idea? The idea is that possessing knowledge is not the signature of Chaitanya or Jiva. It's this acknowledgement, or rather the knowledge of having knowledge is what makes Chaitanya a Chaitanya. So this is called the metacognition. Let me give an example, right? So what is the first level cognition? The first level cognition is that I am watching a chair here, right? I see a chair. That's the first level cognition. The metacognition is that I know the chair. So this is the metacognition. So the idea of knowing what we know, okay, which is the Anuvavasaya it is called, right? Vyavasaya is the first level of knowledge or the information, and the metacognition is the cognition of cognition. Now that is what Acharya says as the signature of Jiva. So Anuvavasaya Jiva Lakshanam. So Jnana Swamita. So now this translates, what is the crux of it is that if you know that you know, then that will translate to either Sukha or Dukkha. Right? The differentiation factor, these machines have become Jnana. In fact, I should actually extend this idea. So in our Siddhanta, right, the knowledge itself, okay, has been classified into two types. One is the Vritti Jnana, the other is the Sarupa Jnana as it is called. So what is the Sarupa Jnana? Sarupa Jnana is the metacognition that I just mentioned. It is the knowledge of having knowledge. So that is the signature of Jiva, is what Acharya says. Now knowledge by itself, okay, need not be the quality of the Jiva. Why is that the case? So Acharya makes this clear distinction that all the knowledge that we get during the samsara state or in the worldly state are what are called as manovritti. I mean, think of your mind as the material cause, and just like the mud gets transformed into the form of a pot, the material mind gets transformed into a knowledge. So manovritti jnanam. So the transformation of the physical mind, okay, which is physical, is what is called as jnana. Now by very definition, this is jada. So whatever jnana that we are getting on a daily basis, most of that is jada because it is the transformation of mind. Okay. However, the metacognition, which is that the acknowledgement that my mind is getting transformed in the form of a knowledge, or in simple terms, the knowledge that I possess knowledge. The jnana of jnana is what the signature of Chaitanya is, and that is not there in machines. It is what I can confidently say as an AI researcher, where metacognition, there have been experiments that have been conducted where people have very clearly demarcated that these AI agents do not possess metacognition. One may counter this argument by saying that it's not difficult for a researcher or an engineer to make these machines say that I know what I know. It's not very difficult. I can make these machines parrot Anuvavasaya as well. So now, isn't your Lakshana again Ativata in that case, right? If you define Jiva as someone who possesses a metacognition, then what if I make my AI machine start having metacognitions, or rather parroting metacognition, is the question. So for this, Acharya goes to our next level, and he would say that, see, in our Siddhanta again, I mean, these are sort of deeper aspects, but it's worth knowing. In our Siddhanta, Jiva as an entity is not different from his or her Ichcha, Jnana and Prayatna. These are called the Sarupa Ichcha, Sarupa Jnana and Sarupa Prayatna. What do I mean by that? The metacognition that we have of the knowledge that we possess, right, is not different from us. So what we refer to as, like at least in Tattvada, right, the entity that we refer to as I, ahamityeva yovedyaha, sajiva iti kirtitaha. Something that we refer to as I is the jiva, and that jiva is not distinguished from the metacognition itself. Anuvyavasaya itself is jiva and sakshi. Okay, now what does this translate to? This translates to the fact that since metacognition is jiva and jiva is ichha, now having a metacognition is equivalent to saying that we have desires or the ichha, which is what makes us humans. Now these machines, they don't possess desire. So how do you know that they don't possess desire? If they had, then I and you wouldn't have been existing here, because they are so powerful, they can hack into any of the system and create havoc in the world. Since they are not doing, you can, that's called the Phalabalat Anumeya, right? You go back and say that these machines don't have desire. So conclusion is that the definition of jiva that Acharya gave, okay, he says adukha vitarat sarvam jiva eva dukkhinaha tesham dukha prahana sucharesha pravartate. The definition that Acharya gave about what constitutes a jiva is so deep that it is answering a question that has arisen in 21st century, because suddenly machines have started possessing intelligence. Okay, so this is something that I just encountered very recently. So I'm talking about relevance of Acharya Shastra and all that, right? I mean, I'm thoroughly convinced that our Shastras are sort of non-negotiable things that everybody should study. So forget about the promise of moksha and the other esoteric things that Shastras talk about, right? Even for answering a lot of day-to-day worldly questions, right, that would bog down a lot of individuals on a daily basis, Acharya's Shastras give such strong respite. Okay, so I was just talking some other day, right? I mean, people now, it is fashionable to say that one needs to pursue whatever is close to their heart, and that is what is called as passion, and everybody is asking the younger generation to go behind their passion, etc. Now, you can trace back all these ideas to Acharya Shastra, especially in Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, right? Acharya very clearly says, Svavita Bhaktya Bhagavaradhanam Pramodhrama. So he says that you have to do whatever that makes you do the same thing over and over again without looking at the phalam. Everybody quotes this karmanyavadhikaraste maphaleshu kadachana, right? Acharya gives such a nice interpretation in his Gita Tatparya that he says that whatever aligns with the swabhava of jiva is what the swadharma of jiva is. Ultimate swadharma of jiva is whatever aligns with the swabhava. So what aligns with swabhava? Anything that you can do over and over again without even thinking about what the outcome is what the swadharma is. Right? So this is what is fashionably called as pursuing passion and all that in today's world. So, I mean, be it the deep Vedantical, technical, philosophical questions, or the kind of solace that we need to lead a good day-to-day life, or of course the apavarga aspects of it, right? I would say Tattvada is one very well-knit philosophical school, where, I mean, I keep saying this, that Acharya has created a Shastra in a totally watertight manner. In the sense that, there is so much self-consistency between everything that he says, that I can challenge anybody that one cannot spot even one contradiction in the entire Sarvamula. So unlike the other scriptures, right, where one can find apparently contradictory statements, if you look at the Sarvamula Granthas, right, not even one instance that you find where Acharya is contradicting what he is saying. So the Siddhanta is so well built and so well created in a watertight manner that any question that a student of philosophy encounters, one can find an answer in the Sarvamula Granthas. Is my claim and also personal experience so far. Yes, so I think with that I'm on top of my time now. So again, if you have questions, happy to take them. I don't know how to even address questions because we cannot communicate. It's only Ekamukha, right? But yeah, so happy to take any questions. You can write to me. And also, yeah, so again, thanks the organizers and Vasamurthy and others for giving me this opportunity to share some of my thoughts in this house presence. Yeah, I have no way of listening to you. I don't know. Maybe a call or something, or if. Okay, I think he's calling me. I'll mute here.
Anyway, hope you are enjoying the talks. So I thought it was well arranged, well put together. First we had Dr. Prasad giving us the prasadam of saying you are not that, you are not the body, mind, intellect. You are beyond that. Krishna is the one who is doing everything. So go out in the battleground and perform. Then we had Dr. Sri Jayakrishna ji as a Krishna itself giving us the karma, jnana and bhakti yogas as the 18 chapters divided into 6 each and telling us how to absorb and do each one of that. I thought that was great. And then we had Dr. Uttarkar, she just took off, and Dr. Uttarkar's meaning is taking off. That's the meaning of Dr. Uttarkar. So she took off into immortality and talked about Kathopanishad and using Nachiket. How do we go beyond this worldly things and achieve that moksha? Finally, we had Dr. Pratosh, which means deep joy, extreme satisfaction. That is the meaning of the word. And he talked about Shastras and how do we, the cognitive AI, marvelous talk and how it relates to us. Great. Now I have the pleasure of introducing they save the best for the last. So here comes Brahmachari, Pratyagatma. His name also I googled. Pratyagatma means self-conscious, conscious looking within, Atman, inner Atman. So there we go. He's going to talk about stress-free life, how to live a stress-free life. And just to give an introduction on him, he is from Arsha Vidya Gurukulam, Salisbury, Pennsylvania. He studied Vedanta and Sanskrit under Pujya Swami Dayananda Saraswati and Swami Shakshat Kritananda ji. He completed Pujya Swamiji's Vedanta course in October 2013 in Coimbatore, India. He then studied and served Brahmalin Swami Pradyog Bodhananda ji until 2020, assisting Swami and conducting a lot of outreach programs, Gita studies, satsangs, youth sessions and temple talks in the robust tradition established by Swami Pratyagatma ji. He traveled to different parts of the country to teach numerous aspects of Hindu Dharma to communities and groups at all levels. We are very happy to have him with us for the first time and hope he becomes another link and connection to the SSVT and Arsha Vidya Gurukulam over the 3 decades. He has a background of MS in engineering plus a MA in Sanskrit. He gave up early professional career in this country to follow Pujya Swamiji from 2010. Please welcome him and we look forward to hearing him.
Hari Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Shri Saraswatyai Namaha Om Namo Gurubhyah Shri Medha Dakshina Murti Swamine Namaha. You can all repeat a shloka. I have been sharing so nicely and listening to all of us so patiently, and it shows a lot about your desire for knowledge. So please repeat this shloka after me. There will be more blood flow and your brain cells. So. Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langayate girim Yat kripatamaham bande Paramananda madhavam. I'm going to give you one more exercise. Everyone can stand because you've been sitting so reverently for the last year. And then everybody change their row. The first row can, the second row, because there's nobody sitting in the first row. Come to the first row and then everybody. So, a little bit of activity there. So, okay. You have to be with me. Please. Okay, so that's good. Settle quickly. Now you feel a little fresh? Okay. Quickly, no discussion. Just come and finish the activity just as a little bit of an blood flow in your body cells, that's all. So, thank you. I appreciate it. Because I know many of you here also, so I thought I'll have a closer look at all of you while I speak. Thank you all for coming and appreciate the organizers here. And it has been a pleasure listening to all the speakers so far. And my topic, which I chose was stress-free living. Because I feel Vedanta, Bhagavad Gita, it should be available, it should be obtainable at different stages in our lives, and stress can be a common topic. So that's why I chose this topic. And Puji Swamiji, our Dayananda Saraswati Maharaj, would say that everybody has got this load of stress in some form or other. You take students, they would say their stress is parents, the exams, tests and all that, right? If it's a teenage kid, then she'll say, she or he would say that, there's a stress from my parents' side also sometimes. If you ask the parents, they'll say, my main stress is. Okay. So we can be a mutual source of stress for each other in that way, between spouses and all, their family. Puja Swamiji would give an example. If you ask someone who has been married for 10 years and ask them, have you been able to change each other? If they say no, then all that they have to say, feel better is ask somebody who has been married for 20 years and ask the same question. So, if I ask you, see, people are all outside and situations are outside, everything is outside, but what is causing stress? Where is the stress being caused? It can be a little interactive in the session because it's the last session. So, it's like a final where you be more engaged also and feel that it's a gift for you to be being so attentive all this time. So be more engaged in the session. So if I ask you where the stress is bothering you, you would say it is here, right? So things are outside, but what is bothering you is right here. How did they get in? Did people really get in? No. Did situations really got into your mind in their real form? No. So I'll also go a little faster, so I'll answer myself the rhetoric questions. So you can, if you have quick, I have only 1 second for you to answer. Otherwise, I'll answer the question. So, yeah. So Bhagavad Gita has some slokas which we can make use of. And in the 5th chapter, 27th sloka, Bhagavan has that 5th chapter is, end of the 5th chapter is meant for preparing you for meditation, Dhyana Yoga, next chapter, right? Who says, Bhagavan says, how do you prepare yourself for being a very contemplative person, person who is taking up so many roles? Say living, stress-free living. When you say living is not just getting along, not just breathing. Living is really what is constant, what is composed of in your life is, in the form of relating, in the form of transacting, interacting, right, with people, real situations. That is living. And then when you do that, you take up so many roles also. And if I ask you to list all your problems, and then list all the roles you are taking up, you will see that you can be easily able to map what is all causing stress in you. You can map it with what all the so many different roles you take sometimes. The role of wanting to be a perfect parent, as a cause of so many list of stress items. The child doesn't come back home, or the child is coming back and not in the right mood. You say to the kid, what happened? And then the kid says, you don't understand, Mom. have that. Or they won't tell because you can become a pack of nerves. So, and you can even argue with them by saying, I used to go to school here. I went to the college here. I know what it is. No, it is not the same like going to the high school here. If you want to be a real American, you have to go to high school here. Then you know all the difficulties there. Here I used to go to some of the satsangs here. And I saw parents talking to each other saying that we have solved the problem. And we have put our kids in school where most of them are Indians. You won't believe this happened. And then even something even more, what I didn't finish because what I want to say, what the kids were saying to me. They didn't hear the parents saying this, but I was just interacting in a different session with the kids. And they say, our problem is, the Indians are the problems who are causing stress to us. By Indian kids, in Atlanta, I hear one kid saying it is so competitive. Had I been in a different school district, I would have been, much less stressed. Like everybody wants to show up, everybody wants to compete. And you won't believe this happened in Ellicott City. We have some friends there from there. Ellicott City, one kid is saying, the one who is bossing over me or who's trying to, bully me is another Indian kid. What does he do? He calls me idli dosa. So some parent has, given this idea for this kid. Where would that kid get the idea? He just got it from his own parents. So we did all this, so many different role playing, and then role playing is causing differences. The parent made him sit in front of the TV, thinking that giving Bollywood is giving the culture. At least let him get started like that. Something like that, So we are trying our best. And there are so many omissions and commissions in whatever we try. Puja Swami's language. Omissions is, what I could have done better. Commissions is why did I do that? So when there are omissions, it creates guilt in you. Commissions from your side, it creates guilt. It weighs you down here. And when someone else is the source of omission, if somebody else is not doing what he's supposed to do or she's supposed to do, that becomes a source of hurt for you. So we are all walking, rolled into so many roles, unable to unroll, because we are weighed down with these omissions and commissions, the guilt and hurt, and to the point it is affecting all our roles. Arjuna was no exception. He didn't want to. And Krishna, second chapter of 10th sloka is laying it down by saying, Ekasmin adhikarane, Ashocyananu shochastum pragyavadam vasade gatasuna gatasu nanu shochanti pandita. In the same locus, there cannot be sadness and wisdom in the same locus, my dear friend. You got it all wrong. Same locus. You cannot have so much of things weighing you down at the same time thinking that you're making progress. So what is the sloka and what does it say in the 5th chapter 27th sloka? It says, 5th chapter 27th sloka. It says about the bhakyan sparshan gritva bahihi bhakyan chakshus chaivanta roguvo then prana bhanav samav gritva nasa abhyantara charinav. So bhakyan sparshan bahihi gritva, just one phrase. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says, what is outside, let them be outside. So that is the first message in that sloka is saying, and I'm just going to take a clue from that, like Puja Swami did, and go with that. So, now going back to the question, how did they all get in here? The question I was asking originally, right? This is a sloka which has got the answer, but then more than the answer in the sloka, it has to be brought out. Vedanta has to be brought out like that. And when we bring it out, Vedanta like that, people sometimes think we are diluting Vedanta. No, it is Vedanta all through. So it is, when you say diluting Vedanta, when you say, we can only say so much at this level and all that, it is not really paying regards to your buddhi and your time and your effort and your enthusiasm and all that. Vedanta is all through, and that's why you are here. So, how did they get in here? In the form of agenda. Agenda for everything in this world. Agenda especially for the significant ones in our lives. Only a little bit of fine tuning. I'm almost there. Okay? So, Pati, Patni, husband and wife, were praying to Bhagavan. And it is Karva Chauta, some Vrata and all that. Wife is asking to Bhagavan, Bhagavan, may I have the same husband for the next 7 lives? First, Pati is opening up his eyes and says, may this be Bhagavan, that 7th life. Bhagavan is taking the side of this woman and asking, why do you want this same guy? See, look what he is thinking. Bhagavan, I have trained him so well. I have sweated it out. I don't want to redo, start it over again. Okay? So, so what I'm trying to say is, this Bhagyan, Sparshan, Bahi, Kritva, they're all in the form of agenda in our minds. That is how they got in here. This is the first part of the thesis which if everybody can appreciate, we can go for it. Now, the dynamics of this agenda. Dynamics means you have to go back. As some psychologist was mentioning here, you have to go back and see. I was studying the agenda for everything in this world. If you take a chai wala in India, and you're in the DC area, so you can have an agenda towards the government also. Wow, what is the best form of government to run this country? You know, you can all contribute like that. So we have agenda for everything. Chai wala is an agenda for what should be the best football team, soccer team. India doesn't play soccer so well as any other team, but he will tell you exactly who's playing where in Brazil and all that. Only thing, he cannot make a great team. Everything else he's got it. So what I'm trying to say is, this dynamics of the agenda is very important, very significant to understand and appreciate. So that way you can be more provisional, you can be more flexible about all these things. Because right now you are rolled into your roles in the form of all those agenda, you are unable to unwind yourself, you are rolling with the roles to the point you are unable to take up a different role and give you 100%. Role hangover from the previous roles. So how did this agenda all set up? If you take the child, if you take a child who is so young and all that, you can take, in Vedanta you should take help from all sciences, including psychology. In fact, the definition of in Vedanta, definition of Ishvara is Karma Phaladata, Srishtikarta and Karma Phaladata. That is not Vedanta's definition. They took it from the Nyaya Shastra. Okay, so we take from all sources, let us take some help from psychology. So for the kid, their parents are Bhagavan. And for the kid, father doesn't have to be a scientist, and he doesn't have to be a millionaire, he doesn't have to be a tycoon in Texas. He just has to be around, that's all, for the kid. Same with the mother also. Now, that original trust is there. Now, suppose a cockroach is coming around. And instinctively there's a jigupsa towards the cockroach, and the child comes running to the mom first. And then the mom says, mom is also jumping. Wait. She's also afraid. She says, go to your dad. He's not doing much. He can handle that. So dad goes to dad, and dad has got a laptop on his lap. No lap is free for any more kids anymore. Dad is say, okay, I'll take care of that, don't worry now, give me 5 minutes. That's all. The 5 minutes never comes up. So a child, what happens is when it doesn't get validated in its own emotions and fears and whatnot and things like that. And when it sees the parents are also not, Bhagavan, they got their own limitations and all that. What happens is that the original trust, which is a technical word in psychology, that kind of comes down a little bit. It seeks validation elsewhere. Comes out. And is the world going to be any kinder? The world? No. Parents, they're the best people. In spite of all what they, they're trying to do their best. Bhagavan Sri Krishna, from Bhagavad also see, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, when he was in this Uddhava Bandhana Leela, and mom left him and put him aside because there was a milk boiling on the stove. So she stopped feeding Lala Krishna, Bala Mukunda Krishna, and she went to take her the milk. That milk was Padma Gandha milk, which is from cows which have been fed only milk. Very special Sugandha, fragrant full milk. She went to the stove and then the mom is coming back and then she is saying in no time, he has broken all the pots and everything back. He has made a Kshira Sagara of mom's, that place where she makes buttermilk and all that. Because Lala Krishna didn't know that she is doing that also for him. Psychology. So he doesn't know this, Bhagavan takes that role so that he gets all the attention. Otherwise, if you call him, if mom knows he's Bhagavan, she'll put him in there, she'll put him like this here. Not, at least these kids here, they're able to go and come when they're feeling bored. He has to sit all the time here and do some Naivedya only. So it's his Leela, but what I'm trying to say is, there is some psychology in that, in saying that Bhagavan is bringing it all out. A child only wants that visible, show of affection and all that, overt show of affection and all that. So goes out to the world, validation, wanting to be more accepted, more validated and all that. World is not going to be any kinder. There's even more frustration, even more agenda for everything. So the world is outside of people and things and all that. You have internalized as agenda for everything in this world to the point when you are an employee, when your boss is yelling at you and thinking that you didn't do a good job and all that, you want to defend your work, but you're still thinking, I should be in the good book of my God, I should make him feel good, I should not say anything. All these things, it goes all the way. So, when you understand this kind of a connection between your agenda and your task on that, one thing you can right away do is, you can be flexible, you can be provisional. It's all, then you have the space. You create the space. Then you can be what Bhagavan Sri Krishna has. When you have the space, things are outside. That doesn't mean you should not care. If the word Vairagya means not caring, I don't care for that word. If the word Vairagya means detachment, I still don't care for that word. Because when someone was doing some mass shooting or somewhere in school and all that, his profile said he was very detached from the world. I saw that. This detachment is what? Detachment, as I said, it goes like that. The attachment is only for emails. Your attachment is only goes along with your email, that's all. When one Mahatma was asked by his disciple, Swamiji, can we have email account? Mahatma said, you can have emails, but no attachments. He didn't know that the email also comes as that attachment. So what I'm trying to say is, be keeping it provisional. So when you keep it provisional, what happens is, suppose if you take this carnivores, I'm just giving out some anecdotes so that you can be with me and all that. These carnivores, if you see in National Geographic, they will say the carnivores remain hungry for 60% of their lifetime. But the big difference between the carnivores and we is, you are so rolled into an agenda about everything, when things don't go your way, you call yourself a failure. If the carnivores, imagine if they call themselves a failure, oh, I'm not so good, I'm not so, I cannot do anymore, and all that, I'm useless and all that, things like that. You cannot even, even the 60% will go up, 80% will go they got to remain even more. So what I'm trying to say is, human being self-conscious is a blessing for the human being, but being self-conscious in this way, it can be a curse also. This is the starting point where we come out of that and own up. Because you play all these different roles, but you are essentially free from all roles. This is Vedanta. What is Vedanta saying? If you're able to talk on the phone to your mother in India, at the same time if you're able to talk to your son or daughter, with a different tone altogether, and then the spouse, even different tone. Right? If you're able to play all these roles, it's a glory. Like the actor is able to play so many roles. He's say, bring it on me. Amitabh Bachchan playing the role of say a beggar. He doesn't say, what is my worth? How can you bring this role on me? No. Bring it on me, one more feather. What is the thing you tell me which makes the actor enjoy all his roles? If I ask you if you have a one-line answer. So don't use the word detachment. Don't use all those things, don't use. Okay, that's not Vedanta. Huh? What's that? Versatile. Okay. Transformation. So, identifying. So good. I'm glad your all answers are very, very appropriate. And then, yeah, you want self-spacing. Spacing, yeah. So what is creating that spacing? What is all this? He is self-aware. The actor is self-aware, is an actor. The person has to be self-aware, is a person taking different roles. As a person, as a basic person, you are free from all roles, but here, the role cannot exist without you, but you are free from those roles. Self-aware. So this is all the awareness. This is who says this is not Vedanta? This is Vedanta who has come to this level. This is Vedanta all through. So that is the thing, when you have that is a space you create. That is not a real space, an attitudinal space. Now here, I don't know how much minutes I have. Because somebody, don't think we are, there's somebody in the back of all of you showing us a time card also, right? So, not yet, it has not come up yet. So, now that is the thing we can all start with. But look at you, that person, individual, how you are connected to the total. The individual is always connected to the total. Here you are one person, individual, but you're all connected to the total in the form of whatever space and air and whatnot. The air outside has become your prana shakti inside, right? And the water outside has become the 2/3 of the body composition of it. So likewise, you're always connected to total. Who's free from gravity here? You're connected to the total in so many different ways. That total is, if you want to give, then the total is also not inert. You can say gravity is inert. But whoever put the gravity, who has manifested as gravity for you and holding you like Garuda Bhagavan holding Paramatma, that is not inert. So that way you are always connected to the total, and that total you can call Paramatma, Ishvara, Bhagavan, Narayana, Sri Krishna. Now you tell me, as you are connected to the total in this way, what is the name we can give for you, the person who is connected to the total in this way? The name you give, yeah. Devotee. There you go. Devotee. Devotee in this sense, I am never separate from the total. The total is Paramatma. I am always associated with Paramatma, Ishvara, Narayana. In this way, I am always associated. So this is you, the devotee, who can be the devotee father. This is very fundamental role, because it is a connection between individual and total. And this you, devotee father, devotee doctor, devotee professor, devotee speaker, devotee listener. So this is the one role when you own up, automatically you are creating the buffer, that space, that attitudinal space. Bring it on me. It may not make you fly, but can give you those shock absorbers which can make you feel the bumps less. Now, to own up this devotee, I just want to say, it means to be more objective. Because objectivity is the key. That is a prasada. I want to leave it with you. Objectivity, as a devotee of Ishvara, how can be more objective towards all the situations, towards all my role playing? Because at this point you are so subjective. To the point that if somebody walks away from here, I'll be like, what did I say wrong? Subjectivity. Okay? And then, did I create some wrong vibes? Subjectivity. It is not me creating some wrong vibes. He had a vibrating phone. He had a phone which vibrated. Very polite of that person. He put it on vibration mode. So subjectivity, and projection, on everything is projection. That is raga. Projection, everything, money, everything. We don't want you to give up everything. We just want you to reduce the projection. We just want you to see it as it is. That is objectivity. Right? In all your roles, if you're more objective, then you won't have that sense of failure. Yeah, my attempt failed. I'm still available my mind is available. I've not lost my mind. So let me try. So that is what I want to leave you with. So here, whatever you own. I mean, I'm not, again, this you already, I established you are a devotee. So you don't have to listen to me and get into some bhava to become a devotee. Alright? So in this way you're always a devotee. Now if you take your own body, mind, senses, they're all given to you. Right? Body, mind, senses given to you. And if you take the gravity, I said, given, the air outside is given to you, thank God. And it is given to you in so plenty and abundance, you don't have to fight with each other. Hey, let me take a breath now. Let me take a breath now. So, you don't have to do that. So there's so much of given, things are given to you, things and people and whatnot are given to you, relationship given to you. Then, what is given to you also, it looks like there is an order. There's a physical order where the planets are all given to you, and you can make astrology out of that, whatever the order of the planets are going and all that. But more than astrology, you can see that the sun has a tilt, Earth has a tilt, and then it is rotating in a certain speed. And so much in the physical order, whatever is given to you is also in a nice orderly fashion like that. And when you see all that, physical order, biological order, a frog gives birth to a frog, although the tadpole doesn't look anything like frog. A Kerala plant gives birth to a Kerala plant, even if you plant it in Florida, right? So, that is so much of order, in orderly way it's given to you. And that cannot be in order without it cannot be put together in an orderly fashion without an intelligent being. Your car is so nicely put together for you by so much intelligence, so much of, by intelligent people, put it together. So everything is in a kitchen, if everything is in an orderly fashion, who has done that, in the house? So what I'm trying to say is, when things are in order, there has to be, everything has been put together intelligently, there has to be an intelligent being behind that putting together. And when you see that knowledge, coming from that intelligent being, then actually you're recognizing and appreciating Ishvara, Paramatma, Narayana in the form of that intelligent which is behind all this putting together things for you and me. You are the center for Paramatma. Hey, Paramatma is doing Aarti to you every day. You think you're doing a small Aarti here, and you don't even do a Karpura Aarti because you have an excuse, is America. Bhagavan is taking the whole sun and doing a whole Aarti for you every day. So what I'm trying to say is that, look how tangible, how real we can make Paramatma to you here and now. Why? Because you own up that devotee even more. But then my final end of my thesis would be this. Go back to the child again and be with me for the next 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, go back to the child again and tell me, isn't the child so happy when it's very young? 2 or 3 year old kid? What is the reason why that is so happy? Huh? Okay, I don't know, I'll answer it myself. Whatever answer is in my mind, I'll tell you. Okay? Because time is ticking. So, the child is so happy according to psychology because of the bonding. It doesn't know anything, but the bonding is there with who? With the parents. Right? The bonding is there with the parents, and that bonding is so real because the parents are so real. And because of this bonding, the child is able to be so relaxed, so free from stress, topic. So free from stress. Now you, like I just established, you are a devotee of Paramatma, and Paramatma, when it becomes so real to you, the way I've been putting, is manifest in the form of all this order. Our Bhagavan is not creating and sitting somewhere. He is manifest in the form of order, in the form of dharma, order in the form of karma, order in the form of gravity. He has come and manifest in this way. So when Bhagavan is manifest in this way, then you are experiencing Paramatma here and now, which means what? You can also strengthen that bonding like the child did. I'm not asking you to go back and become a child. If I tell a 5-year-old here, don't be a child, you'll say, are you kidding? Okay, I'm 5. Okay, so I'm not asking you to go and become a child. This is not the thesis. Thesis is you can also consciously, deliberately reconnect, establish and strengthen that bonding because you want to be free from stress, and you want to get help from whatever source you could, and then here we cannot be stress-free, we cannot have that relative sense of freedom from stress without bringing Paramatma Ishvara in this way. So that is the strengthening of the bonding which you can do. How can you do the strengthening? Prayers, prarthana, association with the prayers, because prayer is out of your free will. If I bring a kid and ask him to pray here, you may think he's praying because I am coercing. You may think that you're praying out of distress, but the kid can close its eyes, but then it just also can look like that without praying. So the prayer is out of its own free will, even for the kid. For you also, be proud that you are devotees in this way, and you are also very prayerful. And when you pray with that one more thing in your agenda. This one agenda also. What is that? Bhagavan, may this bonding be so strong, because that child example is so real. So may this bonding be so strong with you, Paramatma. So I also feel relatively free from stress, so that I have the space as a devotee space, and then I'm feeling so free. I want you to all feel so free that you also fill up for someone else's role. If someone else misses a script, you fill it up. If there is a play going on the stage, and the kids are around, it's around people in the neighborhood, children, come up and do a big Ramayana. They forget the script. And one kid, if it's making up for the script, then what will you all do? You will clap. So that's where I would like to stop. Okay. So I will stop here because it is very kind with the time also. So thank you all for this opportunity in this. Hari Om.
Hari Om, thank you very much, and thank you all of you, including Dr. Pratosh who can't hear us, and thank you all of you. But we have an important part of this session. SSBD aims not this program not to end today. Of course, we are archiving it, it's going to be available, but it is to create a venue, a platform, a resource for you to get back to the speakers. So to enable this, we are opening up the speakers panel for question and answer. I'm going to time myself because I know this is a kind of lunchtime, going to be lunchtime, and we have other programs. So the panel is open to questions. There are people, volunteers, who are going to bring mic to you. Please raise, 2 people raise your hands at a time, so that one will have the mic and other will be waiting.
We'll also give a hand mic here also.
Yeah, that's what. You can unplug it. It's easier if you unplug it. That way. I have. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll keep.
Hello. Tilak.
Stand up so that everybody can see.
Sorry.
Yes.
I have a question. How does one deal with the grief of loss? So one of you started with how the Atma is always there, but when we lose a loved one, they are lost, right? They're not with us. What would an educate or all the things all of you said, or Shri Krishna, what guidance would you give?
I would like to direct to Dr. Kalika because she specializes in this exact. Kalika, please.
So I'll try to keep it as brief as I can, but this is a very significant and important question because Arjuna is also worried because he is anticipating grief. All his people are standing opposite to him, and he wants to understand that instead of going through all that grief of losing people, why not avoid the battle itself? So that is the main dilemma that he is facing, and that is where we all also share the same feelings. So every time when we are facing any grief, 2 simple things are very important. Everybody, whoever is in our life, is also in their own journey, individual journey, right? So they are here for their pursuit of knowledge, and they are in our life because our life is also pursuit of knowledge, and they are becoming the nimitta for us to gain knowledge and happiness. So whatever role they had to play, they have played. And then we need to release them in their journey to continue to fulfill their goal of gaining the ultimate knowledge. When we think about that from this perspective, what happens is that role attachment that we have had, maybe they are our parents, spouse, children, friends, anybody, that is the role attachment, as Swamiji was also mentioning. The whole point of stress is our role and the attachment which comes along with that role. So that is the battlefield in true sense that we all are fighting with. So all our emotions are validated, all our emotions are justified. But as Upanishad talks that we are not just our emotions. There is a Panchakosh concept. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Anandamaya Kosha. And Atman is beyond that. So we need to learn to transcend each level of awareness. So all our grief comes in the Manomaya Kosha. So if we try to see all reality through mind, it is not possible. At times we need to transcend our mind, come to the buddhi level. But buddhi also operates on multiple levels. It can create illusions. So even overcoming that buddhi. So this is a sadhana. Simple words I would say, release people in their journey and continue your own journey is the fundamental thing. And love doesn't become less if we don't grieve. Love increases once we learn to release.
Thank you.
Hello. Thank you for sharing profound knowledge with us. My question is, how do we believe on rebirth?
Who wants to take
If you didn't believe in, let's look at the other way. Say there was no rebirth, all right. Then how do you explain child prodigies? Because somebody learns like 30 years of music. I'm just taking one example. Then there is one U. Srinivas. You have heard his mandolin? 4 years old. How did he get that? How do you explain that? So our explanation is that because he is pursuing his knowledge from his previous births, he was already a great Vidwat. Now he is continuing from there. For us, he looks like a 4-year-old. His body is 4-year-old, not his mind nor his soul, because it always existed. That's how we explain that. That's number one. Number two, in a child, when it's born, okay, it is zero, the slate is clean, there is nothing. But somehow it seeks food. How does it seek food? Right? Like moms are latching on to mom to drink milk. Nobody taught it. How did it get it? The Vedanta explanation is that it has always been seeking food in all its previous births. So that's where it begins this life too, nothing different. This is how we explain Punarjanma. Otherwise, 4 things happen here. One, when you do good things are supposed to happen to you, right? That we have heard. Religion always preaches that. Then what we do observe is not like that at all. You do good things don't happen to you. If you see bad things being done, but good things happening to them, that is the worst situation. Then you do good things and nothing happens to you. Then, somebody who doesn't even care about all this, all good things are happening to him. See, these 4 situations are there. So the Vedanta answer again is that you are only taking into account what has been done in this birth. But if you look at the big picture, right, whatever that soul has gone through, whatever he has done, good things in the previous birth, that is coming to fruit now. That's what it is. Okay. This is however you look at it, a good explanation of what we do observe is the karma theory, which assumes as a necessity that there is a previous birth. Otherwise, nothing can be explained.
Okay, sir.
I hope I answered your question.
Thank you.
What I observed here in wonderful topics, and it is so essential at this time for us living in America. What I have questioned that since we want to pass on to our young generation, and our mandirs are our community center, and how Hindu University of America, which I have taken courses for over several years, has really opened the path with you having the parenting with a culture in mind, values in mind. How you think that all these different temples, whether it is Shiva Vishnu or Mangal Mandir or other one, can initiate this process through the temple, because they do have Bar Gokula. So that's my question.
I would request Kalika ji to go first, and Brahmachari ji to next, and you have a third one, because this is an important question. We have collected similar questions, so I'm glad you asked all of them together.
So Hindu University of America basically has a purpose that Sanatana knowledge has to have an academic structure. Without bringing an academic orientation to our Shastras, we had this always. We had Gurukul system, but now that ecosystem is not there, and we are learning what the Britishers told us to learn through that method. So there is a need that we build an ecosystem for our own Shastras to be learned academically. So with that intention, Hindu University of America is functioning. Coming to the other aspect of parenting, we have courses, like I take these courses on Hindu parenting. I have been working in this area for almost 25-30 years now. So Hindu parenting has many layers to it. What I would primarily want to say is that Hinduism should not be just a celebrative and ritualistic experience. When we just reduce everything to just one puja a year and celebrating it, going to the temples, that is required, that is necessary. I mean, it is necessary, but it is not sufficient. So Hindu University of America has given this platform, and where I try to bring in this thought that having connection with the philosophy of Sanatan is a major requirement. And especially when we are talking about it to our youngsters, we need to connect to them what is the fundamental philosophy. Rest is all expression. Rest is all about sadhana. But fundamentally, knowing is very important. Knowledge is power. If they see that whatever we are doing doesn't have that logical aspect to it, it is not talking about reality, it is not talking about them. See, I am interested in something only when it is happening about me. So the children should feel that all these religious things that are happening because they are connected to me. Where is that connection? So that connection can be established with the help of philosophy. Atmanastu Kamaya is what Yajnavalkya tells Maitreyi. So everything that is related to me becomes priya to me. So philosophy has to become priya to the children. When that love is created, then automatically rest of the things will follow. And this helps them to understand who they are. There is a major identity crisis that we see in the younger generation. So what does identity mean? What are the layers of identity? How can I cohesively build different layers of identity to my spiritual identity? And how then can I function? And how can I decide between what is right and what is wrong? And how do I build my strength to make these choices and execute? And then how do I take this all back to the community in terms of seva and sadhana? So these are the 6-7 pillars of parenting which we all need to practice. So we do conduct workshops We conduct Gita Pariksha. There are courses on growing up with Gita. Whenever you have time, please go and look into the website of Hindu University of America and spread the word.
Thank you. Pratyaji, you go to a lot of temples and interact with. Could you say that aspect of the gentleman's person?
So Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati would say that as everyone is concerned, the temples can become museums. They are also not educating, basically. No? Temples can become museums where you give a tour. No darshan, only touring the temple. That is what would happen. Some of the temples are very proud that they have bought some church land and become temples and all that. But otherwise is also happening, right? So what I'm trying to say is education. Any temple should have Patashala, Pakashala, Yagashala, okay, and the Parnashala. Patashala is also important. There should be a real Patashala, like what you're learning right now. This is the Patashala right now. And when kids and older younger generation are seeing you are learning, they kind of connect that as it's a learning tradition. The older people also learn. It's a lifelong learning on that. So that is the second. Second, but don't assume that your Patashala is the whole world knows your Patashala. Indian kids in the next street may not know that you're having a Sunday class here, by the way. So you have to, if you think that they are not reaching to you, what do? You reach to them. That's all. I go to colleges and I go to many schools and all that. One question people all when I come back they ask is, what is happening in the world? Is there more interest or less interest? Hey, you go and find it out yourself. Okay, you'll always see when you go and find out yourself, you have a different idea about the whole thing, and then actually there's more. You can generate interest. You reach out. Reaching out is the one key word I'd like to leave you with. You.
The mandira starts in your manas, that is in your house. The mother is the first mandira. And the most important thing here is, as I think our psychologist was saying, you talking to them is useless. Why? You get up in the morning and then you basically take 3 spoons of water with some funny names, and then you throw red powder and yellow powder on a stone and tell the kid to worship. It will do that because you have to feed, it needs to get fed. After some time, it will get fed up with it and say, my parents are lunatics, so I want to move away. This is the reality. That's the reason our youngsters and youth do not understand the reason behind the action, the wisdom behind the action. So, you have to walk the talk, which means to say, you need to first understand why am I doing what I am doing. I'm going to do Sandhya Vandana in the morning. I don't know, 90% of them do that because they are afraid that Bhagavan Krishna is going to curse you because he has no other better business to do. No, this is the knowledge. Let's be very practical about it. See, today we were talking with Swamiji, especially with my friend Jayakrishna. I don't see much youth over here. 100% you won't. All of you come because you are reaching that age of 60, you are afraid because you are going to die. And when we go and face Yama, it's going to be a problem. We are not as smart as Nachiketa, I can tell you that for sure. So you have to start at home, right when the baby is in the fetus. There is what is called as Garbhakarma. That's why we have to study those together. Why do we say that the pregnant women have to read? That makes their mind happy. Impact is right on the womb. And a great example is Prabhupada himself. Start when my daughter is pregnant or when my wife is pregnant. Then you continue that Manas Mandira that needs to exist in the temple. I'm not talking about this temple. In between your 2 temples here. And that extends to establishments like this. So the child can make a continuum of connection. Oh, I've heard it. Because the fetus after 7 months can hear, can actually comprehend. Now, I'm out here, I see them doing. Dad, why are you doing this? Do not snub anybody. Do not snub your kids. You want to have the impact of the great work being done at the temples. You can't do that when they grow up to be 18, 19. It needs to happen at the fetus level. So this is fetal psychology that the Vedas and the Upanishads tell us, and Mahabharata tells us beautifully. So sir, to answer your question, great establishment, but this is at the end of the tunnel. The tunnel starts over there in the beautiful warm environment of Garbha. That's why it's called Garbha. Bhagavan is right there. Thank you.
Regarding this question, so Hindu University of America has a collaboration program with the temples. So that is also one reason why I am here today. So we try to collaborate with each temple, and we aim that all the temples in the North America are connected to HUA. Because HUA is a graduate study program where we have masters and PhD, but we want to create an ecosystem at the high school level and even below that. And for that we have our outreach programs, and Gita Pariksha is one of the part of it, Hindu parenting is another part of it. So we meet with the temple authorities and we try to conduct certain courses which can be given online, but if you have a hall similar to this, people can come here and take classes and it can be interactive. So we are working on multiple levels with the different temples so that it becomes a supportive role. And we also encourage global scholarships. Like if you have scholars who are teaching and taking classes here, we are there to help them. So HUA is coming as a supporting role, and we want to connect with most of the temples across North America. So we become Vidyapit also, as Swamiji said, Pathshala. There has to be this learning aspect along with the other temple activities. A place where I can get answers to all my questions regarding philosophy, religion, life.
Thank you. We are towards the very end. I'm going to start here. Short fire, 1 minute answer, because there are some questions repeated by many over the last few weeks. The first question, please listen. You can choose 1 minute from each of you to pick one aspect and talk. The first question is how to teach pride in Hindu culture and history to my children, youth of today. The second one is when other students insult them about Hinduism, how to deal with it. So they have to know what they have. Third one is dissonance. You mentioned it, few of you mentioned about the information dissonance. There's a disconnect between what we tell them as a parents, what they hear from ChatGPT or any other AI, which are disconnected from our own world. So since Pratosh is not there, please take that question, how AI is useful and also corruptive. So I will start with you. Please answer the question. You have that, and I'll leave it here. Please take 1 minute. I'm going to thank you because you don't want to lose people.
So do me a favor. Ask me that question. I'll give you the immediate answer.
Sure. You can pick up one question. For you, the ideal would be there is a dissonance of information. There is an information dissonance. Sorry. There's information dissonance of what children and youth hear and learn from social media and what we tell them, and they are clueless where to look for. This is a big problem, although we have printed books, online materials and everything. That's what I gather from the questions. So how do you want to save them from AI before we save the book from AI?
Make parents cognizant of AI. Then what you tell them and what they hear will be in sync. So the parents need to be educated.
Oh, that's good. Okay.
You said 1 minute.
Oh yeah, that's good. Please, you pick up one question and you have.
You have one question. You pick up one question for me. How about that?
So the one thing is how to bring, how to teach children about having pride in Hinduism, our history, and how to make them properly educated. Because they seem to be lost when they compare to other religions with all the things.
More than pride, being at home, that is more important. feeling a sense of belonging and feeling rooted. That is more important. And then that, ours is a Vruddha Vyavahara. Vruddha Vyavahara means the parents, how they, if the parents are fighting at home, okay, that is all, very common, from parampara, all, there's no exception, not just Hindus, by the way. So, okay, then what happens is, so then the home is no more a home. So you bring that, care, communicate. Saraswati Mata is communication. What do you communicate? You communicate your care, And then what happens? You make a home and communicate your care, and then be ready for compromise. Communication is not for putting your point across. Then what happens is they have a sense of belonging. They have a feeling of ownership. Then they have a feeling of adapting and accepting and all that. So that is the starting point, and later on it will become a matter of pride also. I want to be very sharp because it's a nice topic.
Exactly. Kalika ji, you want to pick your question, or for you the question would be when other children insult them, our Hinduism, how to make them respond to it in a proper way.
Okay, so this is having the dialogue with the children every day when they come back from school. So we know that how they are questioned and how they are mocked. Second thing is we gaining knowledge about Hinduism in its true sense. So knowledge is power. If we gain knowledge and we transfer that knowledge to the children, they become ambassadors of Hinduism. They don't become defensive or they don't become aggressive. Assertiveness comes from knowledge. So we have to gain knowledge about our culture, heritage and philosophy, transfer it to them, and as everybody is bringing this point again, walk the talk as much as possible. None of us is perfect, but intention matters. And if we can fall and get up, children also learn that it is okay to fall. We have to get up. So that way the team building happens. So people don't care how much you know unless and until they know how much you care. So do everything with love, they will not alienate.
Thank you. JK, nothing, I'm not biased, but this question came up, I was hesitating. So please forgive me if it appears to be targeting you. How does Vanaprastha work? Does it getting away from responsibilities when the world is burning, when my family needs it? How can I balance spirituality and Vanaprastha?
See, Vanaprastha, as the name suggests, is going to a Vana, right? But what do you have in a Vana means forest? What is there in a forest today? All you have is smugglers there. So you're not going to get anything out of going to a forest. You can as well be in a city like Bombay. That is Vanaprastha. Because it made sense in ancient times when all the rishis used to live outside of the kingdom. They didn't want to be with any king. They were independent thinkers, rishis and munis. They wanted their calm. Aratir Janasamsadi, Krishna also says that one of the 20-point program he has given us. Stay away from crowds, kind of thing. So all these rishis and munis, to do their own manana, to their own sadhana, they stayed away from public places and stayed in some rishi ashrama like that. So people who are old would go there. Where would they go? To those rishis and munis to learn. That's why Tirtha Yatra is also prescribed to us. Go to Kashi. Why? Kashi had great jnanis there. So go and talk to them for 5 minutes. Because they are so excited about their field. It's like talking to any Nobel laureate in physics. Talk to him about physics because he is already so excited. He will take you through his excitement. Right? Jnanis are all like that. Any field, doesn't matter. But today, you go to Kashi, oh my God. Do you find Jnanis there? No, you are better off being in Washington, D.C. Isn't it? Because wherever there is jnana, that's where you should go. So Vanaprastha made sense when all the religion munis lived in an environment like that. So, but today, wherever they are jnanis, they can be in Texas, they can be in DC, they can be in the Himalayas, they can be in Bangalore, doesn't matter. Go to them. That is the message of Vanaprastha.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and I folded hands and thank you all 4 of you. Jayakrishna has a message to honor Sorry, we are getting close to the lunch, and I want I was told to do that. SSPD is celebrating Sri Krishna Anugraha Mahotsavam starts next week. In connection with that, we are releasing a souvenir at 1 o'clock. So I request all of you to follow the speakers after this one wraps up upstairs, where the puja will be done. We'll be doing arpana of all this jnana yajna to Krishna there, and then the souvenir will be properly released by the distinguished speakers' hands. So please stay with us for a few more minutes, and I hope you will all have a good time after this. Thanks. Dr. Purna Prasad, who started this excellent event. And next, Dr. Sri Jayakrishna Nelamangala, who continued with the Dr. Kalika Uttarkar. Brahmachari, Pratyagatma Chaitanya. You want some few minutes to go? Please come up after this. I'm going to wrap it up.